The young man named Tihian, a legendary hunter, a myth in the industry. But because life was too boring, he decided to abandon the glory of fame to pursue his dream of becoming an online novelist. Despite possessing a burning passion for literature, his works were criticized as childish. Even children would shake their heads in disapproval. The reason was simple. They lacked the breath of life, lacked authenticity. To overcome this fatal weakness, he disguised himself as a weak, unknown, bottom-tier hunter, determined to infiltrate a guild on the verge of collapse and dissolution. His purpose was to observe, research, and experience, to see if a warrior who had reached the pinnacle of power, touched the threshold of the divine, could achieve success in the role of a mediocre novelist, or not. Let us enter the main world of the story to unravel this mystery. One fateful day, a gigantic spatial gate suddenly appeared. Before anyone could recover, adapt to this unprecedented anomaly, hordes of ferocious monsters poured out from the gate, sowing terror. At the same time, individuals with extraordinary abilities, known as awakeners, emerged and became professional monster hunters. Thanks to the tireless efforts of these brave hunters, everyone believed that the world had found peace once more, that harmony had been restored. But then, once again, the world faced a new challenge, an unimaginable threat. It was the Chaos Gate, the most terrifying calamity in human history. Even the combined might of countless skilled hunters wasn't enough to seal it, to stop. In the face of this unprecedented danger, as all of humanity stood on the brink of annihilation, only 12 exceptional espers from around the world, individuals possessing ultimate abilities, powers of the highest level, also known as legendary hunters, rose up to fight against the dark forces. They were the true heroes, those who fought valiantly and defeated the great calamity of the Chaos Gate, saving and protecting humanity from the catastrophe of extinction. And they became known by a name filled with reverence, the 12 Apostles. It was the 12 Apostles who succeeded in breaching and destroying the Chaos Gate. An apostle glanced at his wristwatch, checking the time. Gate entry time, 79 hours, 17 minutes, 8 seconds. Mission completion. Destroyer successfully eliminated. The apostles stood before the corpses of the monsters they had just slain. I'm completely exhausted. Magnificent. Everyone performed exceptionally well. Suddenly, one apostle paused in deep contemplation. Could it be that from now until a century passes, the Chaos Gate will cease to appear? And perhaps today marks the final day the 12 of US apostles will be gathered together. Has anyone given thought to their future? What do you plan to do afterward? I'm heading to Hawaii for an extended vacation. I've got 4 lucrative endorsement deals lined up, 4 hunter equipment. So, I'll probably focus on research and invention. What about you, Roida? What are your future plans? The eldest apostle directed his gaze towards Roida, his tone full of curiosity. It seems you haven't decided yet, have you? The old man beside him sighed. This isn't an easy decision. Our power is extraordinary, not something to be wielded carelessly. Even a slight misstep, a small mistake, could lead to unimaginable consequences, irreversible catastrophes. The old man meticulously examined the weapon in his hand, his gaze as focused as if studying a precious artifact. At the same time, he didn't forget to offer Roida some advice. If you're still lost on your path, he said, his tone filled with concern. He turned to Roida, a kind smile gracing his lips, as warm as the morning sun. Then let us search together, let us explore and see what the path of a true hunter, a genuine hunter truly is. In response to the benevolent smile, Roida only displayed indifference and apathy. No, I'm going to retire. I won't be a hunter anymore, he said firmly. I knew you would say that, the old man replied, not at all surprised. Roida's answer stunned everyone around them, leaving them speechless. Ha! Someone exclaimed in astonishment. Why is everyone looking at me with such surprised faces?
Roi de Asked.
What are you talking about? Do you even know what you're saying? Suppose you quit being a hunter, then, the other person trailed off. What are you going to do to make a living? Roida answered immediately, without hesitation, I'll become a writer. What? You're going to become an online novelist? Everyone asked in unison. Roida's face lit up, his eyes sparkling with evident enthusiasm. The scene abruptly changed, shifting to a formal ceremony. It was the acceptance speech of a renowned author at a literary awards ceremony. James Peterson, a renowned author. To conclude this inspiring speech, I'd like to borrow a famous quote from my own cherished book. Before putting pen to paper, imagine in your mind that you're telling a captivating story to a friend sitting right in front of you. Convey the story with all your passion, and make sure your listener is hooked, never for a moment feeling bored. Remember the core essence of creating a successful online novel. First, the story must be truly captivating. Second, ensure it remains exciting and engaging in every chapter, every scene. And third, never forget the crucial element, captivation. James Peterson's passionate speech ignited a flame of passion within Aeon, urging him to embark on the path of novel writing. Ever since the Chaos Gate was sealed, Aeon has diligently pursued his dream of becoming a famous online novelist. Amazing! Yun exclaimed in admiration. I'm so grateful to James Peterson. Thanks to him, my mind is now overflowing with brilliant ideas, Aeon excitedly declared. Don't get ahead of yourself, those are just ideas. Yun reminded him. Do I really have a talent for writing? Aeon wondered hopefully. Fantastic. When inspiration strikes, you must act immediately. Yun was about to start working on his new novel when two men approached him. They suddenly slammed his laptop shut. No more working solo, buddy, one of them said. Time to unwind and celebrate after graduation, the other chimed in. Come on, rookie, let's celebrate graduation. Tomorrow's the manuscript deadline, Yun stammered, worry etched on his face. Oh well, we'll head out first. You focus on your work, one said reassuringly. But I'm suddenly feeling incredibly inspired, Yun thought to himself. Take care, guys, Yun called out, seeing his friends off. You got this, Yun, he muttered, waving goodbye, lost in thought. This must be it, that surge of inspiration, the brilliant aura of a masterpiece that James Peterson used to talk about. Yun continued his excited train of thought. A waitress arrived with a drink, abruptly interrupting Yun's fervent thoughts. Guest number 18, the waitress called out. Your oat latte. She placed the drink on the table. Ah, you can just leave it there, thanks, Yun replied. Could you also clear these empty glasses for me, please? Yun added. Yun's table was littered with empty glasses. This proves you've been settled here for quite some time. Fantastic. I'm fully charged. Yun felt incredibly satisfied and content. Strike while the iron is hot. Can't miss this opportunity. Gotta run full speed. Give it my all to meet the deadline. Yun put on his headphones and started his favorite classical music playlist. He was completely immersed in a fantasy world, in the novel he was creating. This part needs to be written like this, that part needs to be described like that, and then, that's it. This is perfect. Absolutely brilliant. Outside the window, a colossal monster, with countless terrifying tentacles, was wreaking havoc, destroying everything. Yes, almost there. Just a little bit more. Now all I need is one final, impressive line. Something cool, something totally badass, and it'll be complete. But just as he was about to finish his masterpiece, one of the monstrous creature's tentacles smashed through the window and sent his laptop flying. Yun was stunned, covering his face, staring at the devastation before him, his precious manuscript. My manuscript, he roared in despair and anger, glaring at the monster with blazing fury. Bolts of lightning crackled, ready to unleash his terrible wrath. You are no longer Yun, from now on you are the Thunder Emperor. Hey, octopus, wake up. I haven't finished grilling the octopus yet. Release it into the Jongsun River. Why is there sudden thunder rumbling? Turns out it's the sound from the TV. Don't leave me alone, Gazin, Taejicio cried out in anguish. Oh my god, this is amazing. The drama is so captivating. Did the main character get electrocuted to death? The girl took a bite of her French fry, smiling with amusement. TV dramas need to be dramatic and full of twists to be interesting. Suddenly, a figure appeared behind her. The guy looked at her with a disapproving gaze. Look at your posture. The youngest daughter of the prestigious T family, Taeji Jun, Hungyeom High School student, Taejicio, is one of the nation's top S-rank hunters, and the talented captain of Team 7 of the renowned Guardian Guild, holding the highest rank. Not only that, she's a shining star among hunters, famous for her elegant beauty and sophisticated, high-class fashion sense. However, Taejicio and Taeji Jun were glued to the TV, watching the local news. Ji-jun reached for the remote, about to turn off the TV. Who wants to watch this garbage? He muttered. Taejicio quickly stopped her brother. Hey, what are you doing? She practically yelled. It's getting to the good part. Why do you always ruin my rare days off? Yiseo complained. Taeji Jun scoffed. Days off? You're an unemployed freelancer. You don't have days off. Since you're home, do some chores. Or go outside and get some exercise. She shook her head in exasperation, sighing, "You just don't understand. Give me the remote. You're so annoying." Suddenly, a notification popped up on GCO's phone. Breaking news. Emergency alert from the Mapo district office. A gate breach has just occurred in the vicinity of. Please proceed to the nearest safe shelter, or refrain from going outside. A gate breach has occurred in Mapo district, Seoul. Tae Ji-jun's eyes widened in shock. A loud noise from the television suddenly blared, catching the attention of both Manhwa sisters. This area has just been designated a red zone, high danger level. Authorities advise residents to limit going outside unless absolutely necessary. Anyone outside, seek shelter immediately. Tae-ji-seo hurried outside. "I'll be out for a bit," she told her younger brother, a hint of worry in her eyes. Tae Ji-jun looked at her questioningly. Was there a summons? She took off her glasses, gently shaking her head. "No." Tae Ji-seo looked at her brother with a soft, affectionate gaze. "I just thought some fresh air would do me good." Tae Ji-jun silently admired his beautiful older sister, a thought crossing his mind. "You look pretty cool when you're working." He bent down, picking up a basket of laundry, his tone teasing. "But I don't see any reason for you to go out now." She looked at him, puzzled. "Why?" He lowered his voice, explaining. "Coincidentally, that leech who freeloads off us is working nearby." Actually, scratch that. That 7 times a failure, moon sae me, is more accurate. Loy sighed dramatically. "Ugh, my hard drive is toast." He slumped amidst the scrap metal, groaning in despair. "My luck is as bad as a dog bite." Loy's face darkened as he remembered his beloved computer. "I need to remember this lesson. Always back up and store separately. My first brainchild. Today was supposed to be my day to shine." He was lost in grandiose dreams of himself. His debut work would achieve resounding success, becoming famous everywhere. A grand launch hailed as a promising rookie. Then he would become a renowned author, admired by all, winning the Online Novel of the Year award, a coveted honor. Invited to speak before crowds, sharing his writing experience. And then, his golden age would officially begin. Wouldn't it? Loy hung his head in defeat. I had planned everything so meticulously. His whole body trembled with frustration and disappointment. As expected. As he finished speaking, he erupted with tremendous energy, unleashing hundreds of fierce lightning bolts. I can't even grill some squid properly. Loy grumbled angrily. In that case, I will avenge this blood debt. You've chosen the wrong opponent. He gazed towards the skyscraper, his eyes resolute, a silent vow echoing within. Where's the final boss hiding? Ah, there you are. Just wait. Furious lightning, like the grim reaper's scythe, trails the thunder god's every step, advancing towards the area shrouded in dense, dark energy. An unmanned reconnaissance drone reports back to headquarters. Squad 1 has eliminated all monsters in their designated sector. They jump down into the area littered with monster corpses, quickly reporting the situation. Surrounded by the remnants of the recent battle, they summarize the key events. We confirm all civilians have been evacuated from the danger zone, and we will continue to sweep the area, eliminating any remaining monsters. Roger that. We're counting on you. 2 members of the squad exchange glances, breathing sighs of relief. Almost done, right? Yeah, we're almost there. Just a little bit further. This dimensional gate breach seems pretty easy, though. A young man in the squad looks towards the tall, muscular man, his eyes filled with admiration and pride. It's all thanks to the captain's extraordinary strength and brilliant leadership. As expected, Mark, a veteran bulldozer operator and member of the emergency response team, also captain of Squad 4 of the prestigious Guardian Guild. Mark, an A-rank hunter with a stern, imposing presence, spoke up, "Less chatter, you lot." Masayogi, gripping his massive hammer tightly, strode forward. "I'm ready to face the boss," he declared. "It's almost here." The others looked at Masayogi, grinning confidently. "What's there to worry about?" The black-haired young man spoke with a proud tone. "We have Captain Mark, an incredibly powerful A-rank hunter. What's an A-rank boss to us?" Mark cut him off, his voice serious. "Don't be careless. Do not let your guard down. That monster is lurking somewhere close." Misagi smiled faintly. "No one knows from which direction it will strike." Suddenly, right before their eyes, 10 giant serpents appeared. "Quickly, form a defensive line," Mark yelled. The group froze as the colossal monster swung its massive tail, preparing to unleash a devastating attack. The enormous tail slammed into the ground, right where the group was standing. Hera, how can it appear at an A-rank gate? Wait a minute. On the other side of the battlefield, Masuki was fighting with all his might. He tried to hold back the monsters, buying time for his teammates. The alarm blared. Warning! Boss monster has appeared. Hydra, an A-rank boss monster, ferocious and terrifying, suddenly emerged. All soldiers turned towards the monster. Their commander roared, "Fire! Don't hold back! Destroy it!" Sensing the danger, Hydra immediately launched a fierce counterattack. An earth-shattering explosion echoed, stunning Masuki. An A-rank gate, but an A-rank monster appeared? He exclaimed in shock. Could it be there's been a shift in the dimensional gate? This is bad. We need to request stronger reinforcements immediately. Masuki assessed the situation. He looked towards his teammates with worry, his heart filled with unease. With their current strength, sweat poured down Masuki's forehead. He knew they couldn't possibly withstand it. The colossal monster roared furiously, unleashing a torrent of flames towards the group. But the terrifying flames were miraculously blocked. Masuki had used all the power of his mythical hammer, stopping the fatal attack. The group shouted in unison, "Captain!" Panting, Masuki thought to himself, "Damn it, there's no more time to hesitate. We have to find a way to stall until reinforcements arrive." The dilemma lies in the terrifying power of each head, nearly reaching A-rank level. If all 9 heads launch a simultaneous attack, our chances of survival are practically zero. Suddenly, Masuki coughed up a mouthful of blood. Yen gritted his teeth, vowing not to surrender to fate. Masuki quickly regained his balance, maintaining a fighting stance, ready to respond to any cries for help. As long as there's a glimmer of hope, a shred of strength to fight, he would charge in without hesitation. Masuki's eyes were sharp as knives, fixed on the monster before him, determined to fight to his last breath. The hammer blow landed with earth-shattering force, cracking the ground in two. A ferocious attack, he observed carefully, then silently speculated. Only 2 heads were hit. Masuki faced the colossal monster head-on, then coldly advanced step by step. Suddenly, a spark ignited in his mind. Masuki lay sprawled on the ground, his body in agony. "Damn it!" he cursed under his breath. "I can't fall here," he told himself. The monster rapidly gathered energy, forming a massive fireball. Masuki struggled to his feet. If that fireball falls here, everything will be destroyed, reduced to ashes. He coughed up a mouthful of blood, groaning in agony. "Damn it! Damn it! Damn it!" Suddenly, a brilliant golden lightning bolt, as bright as the sun, ripped through the dark sky. Masuki gasped in astonishment. "What's this? What happened?" A young man with golden hair seemed to have completely incinerated the monster's terrifying fireball. Could he be a god? Jeek Palro. He stared at the multi-headed monster in terror. That young man with golden hair, could he be a god? Jeek Palro. Jeek Palro, looking at the multi-headed monster before him, said in a deep voice, "I've finally found you. You're the final boss, aren't you?" He gritted his teeth, replying coldly, "Do you know the extent of your sins? Confess now, justify your evil deeds." The monster stared blankly at Jeek Palro, then suddenly lunged to attack. Jeek Palro stood his ground, unwavering, ready to fight. "Oh? Is that how it is?" Jeek Palro focused his energy into his hand, then charged towards the monster. Fools must suffer the consequences. A devastating blow sent the monster sprawling backward. "My computer." Roy unleashed a flurry of blows, roaring in fury. "You destroyed my entire manuscript. How are you going to compensate me for this?" He coldly glared at the monsters, scoffing, "You call yourselves my opponents? Roy, with a snap of my fingers, can summon thunder and lightning." His indignant voice sent shivers down the monster's spines. An immense surge of energy erupted, spreading everywhere. Roy leaped out of the danger zone, muttering, "I'll burn you all to ashes. But even that won't be enough to quench my rage." He scratched his head, frustration etched on his face. "The deadline is tomorrow. How am I supposed to rewrite everything?" The group from earlier gradually regained consciousness. They clutched their heads, groaning, "Damn it, why did we pass out? What just happened? We were clearly fighting Hydra." The young men all turned their gaze towards Masuki and chanted in unison. The captain, one of the young men, quickly helped Masuki sit up. While supporting him, the captain sighed in relief. "Thank goodness, you're still alive. Just stay calm and wait for the rescue team. Wait, look, one of them exclaimed. They were all astonished by the death of the ferocious hydra monster. It's dead? These marks look like it was brutally attacked by someone. Before it died, another young man added. The two men suddenly looked at Masuki with suspicion. Could it be? A breaking news report flashed on the television screen. After 2 years of inactivity, an A-rank gate has suddenly appeared in South Korea. NT Hospital, Mapo District, Seoul. Reporter Kim Jae-yul is reporting live from the scene. The boss monster this time is an extremely dangerous A-rank hydra. Although it's only A-rank, a brave hunter single-handedly fought and achieved a spectacular victory against this colossal monster. That hero is Masuki, known as the Bulldozer. Masuki is a member of the prestigious Guardian Association. Masuki, his mouth gagged, could only let out muffled groans. He shook his head repeatedly, vehemently denying something. The video of Masuki slaying the Hydra monster was uploaded to YouTube and quickly garnered over 100 million views, becoming a viral sensation. In the footage, Masuki bravely fought the ferocious monster, saving civilians from imminent danger. According to the latest reports, he needs at least 14 weeks to recover from his injuries. Even more tragically, he suffered permanent damage to his vocal cords. The loss of his voice is believed to be caused by desperate screams, angry curses hurled at the Hydra, in the face of death. Damn it, this is really bad. The footage from the scene. An emergency meeting was immediately convened. They argued fiercely, the room in an uproar. As everyone witnessed, we need to recruit Masuki, the hero who defeated the A-rank Hydra monster, into the association immediately. I disagree. He's just an ordinary A-rank hunter. But what if he has the potential to break through and reach S-rank? Furthermore, currently, hunters possessing such terrifying power are incredibly rare. However, based on the information I've gathered, it seems he takes immense pride in being a member of the Guardians Guild. Seo Taiji frowned, her thoughts racing. That won't cry until he sees the coffin. Taehyun. What earth-shattering stunt has he pulled now? He always acts so recklessly, without any sense of restraint. She glanced towards Chairman Go Gunhui, worried about what would happen if he found out that the gatekeeper of this raid gate was none other than the Thunder Emperor. Things would become incredibly complicated. Go Gunhui smiled enigmatically, then spoke. Do you all truly believe that an A-rank hunter could single-handedly defeat that monster? I'm afraid that's highly unlikely. Guardians Guild Chairman Go Gunhui S-rank hunter. Seo Taiji froze, internally screaming, damn it, I've been caught. I'm so screwed this time. Yunju. He turned a sharp gaze towards Seo Taiji. Isn't that right, Hong Ryam? She covered her face, giggling shyly. What do you mean, sir? What are you talking about? The chairman stood up, slowly speaking. An A-rank Hara monster defeated by an A-rank hunter? Unbelievable. All right then. This suddenly reminds me of a legendary hunter from years past. He looked out the window, a cryptic smile playing on his lips, bold enough to take the Emperor's reward and vanish without a trace. Finally, you've decided to show yourself. I will come to see you myself. Roy was anxiously and nervously awaiting the results of his manuscript review. The person across from him looked at him and said, Author Taehyun? Yes. He pushed his glasses up, coldly analyzing. If you keep writing like this, I'm afraid you won't last long. Editor from the publishing house's third editorial team, Galibin Gukyungo. The man looked at Roy with a sympathetic, pitying gaze. Let me be frank with you. This storyline isn't captivating at all. The initial idea was promising, but the monsters are always defeated too quickly. It lacks realism, the element of survival. It'll be hard for readers to immerse themselves in the story. They might even give up halfway. Hold on, don't jump to explanations just yet. He picked up the manuscript, skimming a short passage. But I poured my heart and soul into this. Jim Era felt like his head was about to explode. The man let out a heavy sigh. There's no need for such meticulous detail. He handed the tablet to Loy, saying, Did you see the news this morning? The article about a hunter from the Guardian Squad who risked his life saving people from a gate breach and almost died. Just imagine. An ordinary hunter, not a high-ranking one, defying danger, sacrificing himself to protect innocent people. I can't give up here.
Danger.
Captain, how fierce and brutal that battle was. His gaze was sharp as a knife, as if it could pierce through all secrets. Despite not witnessing the scene firsthand, everyone could still sense it vividly and authentically. The man slowly and meticulously analyzed each detail, ensuring that everyone would etch the name of this brilliant hunter into their memory. Though not physically present, the hunter seemed to be with them always. A feeling of deep understanding of the character's inner world, as if immersed in his every heartbeat. This empathy and complete immersion were key to the work's authenticity and vibrancy. Loy seemed to have an epiphany. I never really considered this aspect. I apologize. A glint of satisfaction flashed in the man's eyes. Because it seems you've finally begun to understand the issue. I'll give you one more week. Use this time to revise your work. Loy bowed his head in gratitude. Thank you so much. This time, I'll give it my all. He glanced at Loy, his voice full of authority. You must succeed. Failure is not an option. If the next version still lacks a breakthrough, if it's not more engaging, then be prepared to face the consequences of a terminated contract. If it's still not captivating, more compelling, then you should prepare yourself for the termination of this contract. Soaked in cold sweat, trembling uncontrollably, what's going on? Could it be the contract's canceled? For heavy sighs echoed in the quiet apartment as night fell. Yun dragged himself home, shoulders burdened by exhaustion after a long day. Di-jun, seeing him enter, called out, Scarecrow, you're back this late? He sighed deeply, collapsing heavily onto the sofa. Then, wails and groans erupted, threatening to shatter the silence. Di-jun couldn't take it anymore, and smacked him hard on the forehead. Your moaning is loud enough to bring the house down. He asked curiously, what is it this time? Spill it. Yun clutched his forehead, his face weary. What am I going to do? Yun rubbed his throbbing forehead, and said miserably, I'm about to get fired. After listening to the whole story, Di-jun said calmly, so that means, if you can't revise the manuscript to the editor's liking, the contract will be cancelled. He turned to Yun and continued, right, so you have to make it more realistic, more vivid. But he didn't know where to begin. Yun sat on a chair, quietly nodding, responding with a simple, Ji-jun asked curiously, what did you know beforehand? Hearing this, he replied, let me tell you. He hastily recounted his story to Ji-jun. I took down 30 A-rank monsters with a single move. Sounds pretty impressive, right? But that guy said it wasn't convincing enough. Just A-rank, not S-rank. Why not? Hearing this, Ji-jun could only sigh in frustration. He turned to Yun, asking, have you ever actually been in a fight? Yun responded curiously, what a strange question, kid. He answered confidently, of course I have. Ji-jun looked at him skeptically. When? Yun recounted excitedly, at the Chaos Gate, I fought for 70 straight hours against those annihilation monsters. I was so exhausted, I almost turned into a skeleton. He looked at him, eyes filled with a pensive sadness, and slowly said, are you really bringing that up as an example now? Yun looked confused and asked, what example? I don't understand. Ji-jun turned serious, posing a cryptic question to Yun. Listen carefully. How many hunters in this world do you know have reached the legend rank? Yun quickly replied, 12. Ji-jun continued to question, then, how many people possess the experience and abilities comparable to those legend rank hunters? Yun thought for a moment and replied, probably 12 too. Now, Ji-jun began to analyze and explain to Yun. The vast majority of hunters in this world are ranked between F and C. Just reaching rank A allows one to live a life of luxury, with abundant wealth. You could even say it's a life-changing moment. And if you reach rank S, both wealth and power are within reach, a status even surpassing the chairman of large corporations. Ji-jun continued, his tone filled with experience and wisdom. If that's the case for rank S, then how do you think those at the very top feel? The story of the renowned hunter, Co. Di-jun, delves into the perspectives of the supporting characters, rather than solely focusing on the protagonist. Typically, readers only observe the protagonist's journey and place themselves in their shoes, so they are often drawn to stories about growth and development, originating from levels and starting points that are more relatable to their own experiences. He continued to question, if you want to write stories like that, what should you do first? Yun hesitated, stammering, Without waiting for him to respond, he suddenly spoke up, surprising him. You have to gather materials. Research and analyze those materials. Explore, learn, Observe how ordinary hunters fight and survive. At least, you have to experience it, witness it firsthand. Faced with such blunt words, he casually countered, "But where? You're not a hunter anymore." Hearing that, Dijun stood up in disappointment, about to leave. "What am I supposed to do with a blockhead like you?" Dijun quickly embraced him, pleading, "Honey," he pleaded, "please Yun, help me." He brushed him off, saying helplessly, "Why don't you try the Korean Hunter Association? Surely the association president will help me, I told you."
Jon listened silently to the junior.
He thought to himself, he's the Thunder Emperor, the legendary hunter, Korea's sole hero, the one who single-handedly faced that destructive monster. Dijun sat down on the ground, muttering, "Oh yeah," he suddenly realized, slapping his forehead, "That's right, I'm the Thunder Emperor." At a magnificent skyscraper, a man slammed his fist on the table, roaring with indignation. How could this happen? He was Han, the Northern Emperor, president of the Korean Hunter Association. Staring at the information displayed on the screen, he bellowed furiously, "Downgraded to rank 2 last year? Preposterous. We not only continuously attack and destroy national gates, but we have also proven our ability to train excellent hunters." He questioned relentlessly, met with the awkward, embarrassed expressions of those around him. Even that nation, when faced with annihilation by a gate, had to beg for our assistance. He droned on without a pause. Then the German side made a demand. They requested the complete transfer of hunter training secrets, and we agreed, meeting all their requirements. A man spoke up, clearing his throat to get attention. Go-gun, he, exasperated, roared. "And yet our proposal for a rank adjustment was absurdly rejected?" His fury still simmering, he exclaimed, "It's ludicrous, making a fuss over such a trivial matter." At this point, another man smirked, speaking with a sarcastic tone. "Isn't this obvious?" He chuckled, a calculating glint in his eyes, and said casually, "Because you Koreans don't have a national-level hunter, simple as that." He was Gunsan Rover, chairman of the Indian Hunter Association. Rover continued calmly, 11 nations, including our India, can all support a national-level hunter, but Korea cannot." Not stopping there, Rover began to mock, "And I hear Korea's strongest hunter suddenly announced his retirement, didn't he?" Dahan gritted his teeth and endured the official's harsh words in silence. "How do you manage the hunter teams? To let a national-level combatant vanish without a trace? This is absurd." Dahan tried to justify it, explaining that it was each hunter's personal freedom. Rover interrupted, "Enough with the excuses, stop trying to cover for your incompetence." He continued to spew contemptuous and disdainful remarks. "And you still demand a promotion at a time like this? Laughable." Let me reiterate, the title of National Rank 1 Hunter is reserved for nations possessing a legendary hunter. Dahan was speechless, desperately searching for a possible solution. Then, at least adjust it to rank 2? Dahan was met with a cold dismissal. "That's all for today. The decision has been made. This meeting has gone on long enough. We will discuss this matter again. South Korea's ranking needs to be adjusted in the next evaluation." Everyone worked very hard. "Thank you." The meeting attendees filed out one by one. Dahan remained seated, stunned and still reeling. From his office echoed a torrent of enraged curses. "Damn it! Those bastards!" His secretary entered, witnessing the chairman's furious outburst. He swept everything off his desk, muttering incessantly. "All flattery and sweet talk when they need something. Then they turn their backs faster than you can flip a pancake." His voice dripped with sarcasm. "Chairman, please calm down. You have another appointment," his secretary urged. Regaining his composure, Dahan asked, "What's the next appointment?" "Sir, it's a meeting with representatives from the Scott Ion Guild," the secretary replied respectfully. "Scott Ion? One of the guilds that responded to your collaboration proposal," the secretary added. "Yes, I remember." Trailing behind him, the secretary cautiously suggested, "However, Chairman, perhaps we should reconsider. As you know, the Scott Ion Guild is notorious for its inefficiency, and there are rumors about them frequently attacking rival guilds through underhanded methods. They're definitely trying to take advantage, using the excuse of receiving aid from the association to shamelessly monopolize the high-grade gate." He continued to ramble and grumble incessantly. "If we happen to get involved with these people, the association's reputation and prestige will surely be ruined." Secretary Wu spoke, his tone filled with worry. Gohan abruptly turned, his gaze sharp as he looked at him and explained, "We are the Korean Hunter Association, a guild officially recognized by the government. We have an obligation to welcome them. Despite saying so, deep down, he shared Secretary Wu's concerns. Though I say that, I honestly don't want anything to do with them. If they accept scavenger, other guilds will seize this opportunity to attack and divide the association. Suddenly, a group of guards rushed in front of him, panicked. It's not the first time those people have caused trouble here. We can just use force to drive them away, can't we? Witnessing the scene, Gohan curiously asked the captain of the guard, "What's going on?" The stern guard bowed his head respectfully. "Yes, Chairman. There's someone causing a disturbance in the main hall, demanding to see you. He's being incredibly loud and disruptive. He claims to be the son of a convenience store owner." The chairman scoffed, a bitter expression on his face. "Now, even the son of a shopkeeper dares to disrespect me?" Seeing the chairman's anger, the guard quickly bowed lower. "Please forgive us. We were negligent. We should have handled this situation more swiftly and efficiently." He hesitated, then continued. "But he insists that if you hear Taedong convenience store, you'll understand immediately." Hearing this, Chairman Gohan froze. He spun around in astonishment. "What did you say? Taedong convenience store?" His expression shifted from surprise to utter shock. "The son of the owner of Taedong convenience store, Tian, could he be the legendary hunter who vanished?" Without a moment's hesitation, he rushed out. "Quickly inform the people downstairs," he ordered urgently. "Tell them I'll be down there immediately. Why is this elevator so slow? Damn it!" He impatiently pressed the elevator button repeatedly, his face filled with anxiety. That person must not be allowed to leave. At any cost. The boss's strange behavior left Secretary Yu and the bodyguard bewildered and confused. In the blink of an eye, he vanished mysteriously. Chairman, where are you?" A luxurious car pulled up in front of the high-rise building. A stately man stepped out, a smug grin on his face. "Look at their headquarters," he sneered. "The Hunters Association is so ostentatious, all show and no substance." It was Seakshin Yoginam, captain of the notorious monster hunting squad. His underling, trailing behind him, showered him with flattery. "Even that stubborn old park deacon is now humbling himself to meet you, proving that the reputation of our Seakshin guild resonates far and wide." Seakshin patted his underling on the shoulder, replying smugly, "Of course, the amount of funding I provided is no small sum. It's only natural they show me respect." He meekly admitted, "The chairman's aura is truly something else." From inside the elevator, Park Dehan rushed out, yelling, "Where is everyone? Where are all of you?" Seeing him, Jinan sarcastically remarked, "It must be incredibly urgent for you to run out without even your shoes on, huh?" Then, he pompously raised his hand, announcing, "I am the Northern Chairman," but Dehan ignored him, roughly shoving him aside and shouting, "Out of my way!" He stood dumbfounded, stunned as Dehan hurried past. Dehan barked, "You there, move aside. Do you know who this is you're blocking?" The bodyguard beside him spoke up awkwardly, "Chairman, I apologize." Dehan's face lit up as he grabbed Yun's shoulder. "Yun, I'm so sorry for the delay. You've been waiting for a long time, haven't you?" Yun smiled in response. "I thought I wouldn't get to see you today. It's been a while." Dehan quickly explained, "I received the notification too late. What urgent matter brings you here?" Yun calmly replied, "Well, there's something I'd like to discuss with you." At this moment, excitement surged within Chairman Gohan, his thoughts churning like a restless sea. Could he be coming back? Will the hero return to the scene? He envisioned the glorious return of the hero, Lightning Emperor, bathed in radiant light, standing atop a mountain of monsters, declaring, "Have you been waiting for me long?" Gohan continued to lose himself in his thoughts. It was understandable, even though Lightning Emperor had announced his retirement. The Hunter Association had always kept a close eye on him. Overjoyed, he thought to himself, "Finally, we will once again be a nation that boasts a legendary hunter, elevating our standing on the global stage." Suddenly, the young man spoke, "I'd like to take a look around." Gohan, delighted as if he had struck gold, quickly replied, "Wonderful! I've been waiting for you to say that, Lightning Emperor. I'll have everything prepared for you immediately." But then, he suddenly realized something wasn't right. He wondered, "Wait, take a look around?" The young man calmly replied, "Yes, a tour." His curiosity piqued, he spoke, I'm rather intrigued by the prospect of observing ordinary hunters at work. Yun extended a hand towards Dahan. If you agree to my terms, he offered, his gesture implying a deal. I will assist you in fulfilling one request within my capabilities. At the association headquarters, a formal voice resonated, summarizing the contract's contents. A mystical contract materialized, accompanied by Dahan's detailed explanation. If we proceed with this collaboration to gather 10 data points for creative purposes, the contract's terms will be as follows. Clause 1.1. Park Dahan and the Hunter Association will cooperate. Park Dahan will fulfill one request from the association monthly. However, Mr. Dahan reserves the right to refuse if the request is inhumane, illegal, or hinders Tihian's creative process. He then solemnly confirmed, the Thunder Emperor will return? He affirmed with certainty, then inquired, indeed. Is there a convenient way for me to observe and learn? Jihan's face lit up. Of course, absolutely. The man presented a card. I have a job that perfectly aligns with your aspirations. It completely fulfills your desires. Jihan's heart swelled with uncontainable joy. If the Thunder Emperor returns, not only will our nation's status rise, but Korea will once again stand tall on the world stage. He declared firmly, we absolutely cannot miss this opportunity. In Taehyun, rank F, gate supporter for the Korean Hunter Association. Jihan asked, what's a gate supporter? Yun looked surprised. A gate supporter? He began to explain in detail. It's a job primarily for F-rank hunters. Their task is to collect 10 spoils from gates that hunters have conquered, or to secure escape routes for hunters in emergencies, and provide combat support when danger arises. He added, naturally, he rarely faced danger directly on the battlefield. Most of his work revolved around simple, undemanding tasks, such as providing support from the rear. Taehan observed Yun, his eyes filled with worry. This position is also quite suitable for you to observe and learn from other ordinary hunters. He cheerfully picked up the card, excitedly saying, wow, I didn't expect there to be a job like this. Taehan looked at him, a satisfied smile playing on his lips, thinking to himself that Yun was still so naive. It's understandable. It's rare to find support personnel at dangerous sites, places where even national-level hunters can lose their lives. He jumped up in delight, agreeing, exactly, as expected of the chairman, you really understand me. This is exactly what I'm looking for. Thank you so much. Jihan asked in surprise, wait, you can be a support person too? He maintained a calm expression, replying, of course, please. Immediately send the remaining information to the convenience store. Chongdam, he ordered. Hurry up. With that, he used his ability, dashing out of Dean's office. Secretary Wu stared at the wall Yun destroyed, her face still etched with astonishment. She turned to Dahan, curiosity in her voice. Thunder Emperor, is he always this impulsive? Dahan's expression turned serious. You should be more careful with your words, he continued, a hint of pride in his tone. While his methods may be unorthodox, he is the last hope of our Korea. Yun, a bright smile on his face, finally reached his destination. He gazed at the sign neatly hanging above the entrance. This is the place. Yun stood before the building of the C-rank guild 10,000 things like fire, a thrill surging through him. He had overcome countless obstacles, poured all his determination into reaching this point. Amazing! I'll definitely learn everything about the hunter world here, Yun thought to himself. And this time, I'll write a truly vivid, authentic story. Brimming with anticipation, Yun pushed open the door and stepped inside. A voice called out, hello, I'm Tian, in charge of gate support. Yun was stunned by the sight before him. It was far from what he had imagined. The room was small, cluttered, and occupied by only 2 men. The man engrossed in his phone looked up, surprise evident on his face. He asked in a sleepy voice, huh? Someone here for gate support today? The other man, who had been dozing on the table, jolted awake, scrambling to sit up. What? The gate's been activated? Yun remained silent, standing motionless. While they were talking, there was no support to open a portal here. Ah, that's right, today. Yes, today's the day. The man, just awakened, stood up with a bright smile. Sorry about that, just a minor issue. He thought to himself with amusement, oh, so this is how a real guild operates. He extended his hand in a friendly gesture. Pleased to meet you. I'm Mansuk Sol, Guild Master of the 10,000 Master Flames. He shook back enthusiastically, clearly excited to meet him. The pleasure's all mine. I'm Tihian. Sasian gestured for him to sit. Have a seat, come in. As you know, This is a C-rank guild, so there are only 3 members, including me and that kid. Seeing only 2 people, Yun asked, "What about the other person? Where are they?" He replied, "That kid's currently on a temporary dispatch mission." Yun was curious. A dispatch mission? He began to show interest, a sly smile playing on his lips. Imagine, it's as if the 12 apostles were sent to different far-off nations. Sacian spoke up, breaking the silence. He gestured with his hand, his tone laced with sarcasm. "You're quite unlucky, aren't you? Suddenly assigned to this godforsaken place, just sitting around doing nothing." He pulled out a pen, jotted something down, and asked, "Well, how did things end up like this?" The man, glued to his phone screen, replied indifferently, "How else? Just look at this rundown office. What kind of business can you possibly do here?" He spoke bluntly, without any reservation. "This association will forever be small-time C-rank. Don't even dream of making big money here. All you can do now is try to survive day by day." Hearing this, Sacian retorted, "Hey kid, why are you speaking so recklessly?" He maintained his arrogant demeanor, continuing to provoke Sacian. "Oh my, I'm just stating the truth. Why so worked up?" Sacian was speechless, angered by the brat's insolence. Seeing this, Yun interjected, "You two are quite close, aren't you?" As if they were comrades, who had fought side by side, overcoming countless hardships and dangers. This left both of them with an unspoken, indescribable feeling. They both started to act friendly. After all, we've been through so much together, faced so many arduous challenges. But I'm sick to death of this charade. I feel the same way. This feeling is so uncomfortable." He sat in a corner, his eyes intently observing them. In his mind, countless interesting scenarios began to vividly unfold. Overcoming adversity together, how wonderful, just like seasoned hunters. Sacian, who had just been rescued by the other man, spoke up. "You idiot, I told you to leave me behind. Why did you come back?" The man helped him up, replying, "How could anyone be so heartless?" Sacian asked awkwardly, "Did you feel that way even in the eyes of that giant Epgok?" The man laughed heartily, with amusement. "It seems we're both quite seasoned, experienced veterans, aren't we?" Yun spoke up excitedly, "If we're such close comrades, such good friends, with such a strong bond, then our teamwork in battle will surely be incredibly powerful. It's bound to be an earth-shattering battle. So when are we allowed to enter the gate?" This question surprised the other two. "Our guild doesn't have any battle plans." Hearing that, the young man was so stunned he dropped his pen. "What?" He spun around, demanding an answer. "Isn't this the Hunters Guild?" Sacian scratched his head. "It is the Hunters Guild, but our guild's rank is too low. We never get a chance to prove ourselves." He wondered, "Then what am I supposed to do here?" The other man picked his nose casually. "Nothing." Yun tried to stay positive. "It's okay. The gate doesn't open every day." "That's true." He told them, "I'll do anything you ask. I'll give it my all." "Oh yeah?" the man said. "Then go clean up." Sacian spoke up. "Hey, it's your turn to clean today." "Alright, leave it to me." He readily agreed. "See?" the man said. He said to give him any task. "What do you mean, no way? Why are you making a complete newbie do this kind of work?" In reality, Yun already had a plan. With only a week left on the contract, he needed to use the time to uncover the truth and return. "Just wait, my manuscript is almost finished." 6 days before the contract expired, he cheerfully arrived at the guild and greeted everyone. "What's our mission today?" Sacian said. "You too, clean the hallway." He replied, "Yes, sir." 5 days before the contract ended, Yun arrived and offered his usual greeting. Seeing a man cleaning the windows, he approached and asked, "Are there any more interesting tasks today?" The man replied, "If there were easy jobs, we wouldn't be here." He started to feel disappointed and asked, "So what do I have to do today?" The man smiled and held out a window cleaning cloth, and Yun silently cleaned the windows. 3 days before the contract expired, he walked in listlessly. Sasol handed him a broom. This made him feel utterly exhausted and disheartened. With only 2 days left until the contract deadline, Yun seemed to have completely transformed into a true cleaner. He was distraught, thinking to himself, "I'm doomed, truly doomed." His gaze fixed on the sign, he muttered to himself. The first day was acceptable, seeing the apartment so clean and tidy, he mused. But I've been here for a whole week at least. Every day, just stuck with cleaning and tidying. Suddenly, Yun lost his composure, clutching his head and yelling in despair. "I haven't even touched my manuscript. At this rate, by the time the contract expires, I won't have written a single word. In the stillness of the night, at a deserted company, a man was still diligently working in front of his computer screen. Omo, his face etched with fatigue, was focused on his work. Suddenly, a steaming cup of coffee was placed before him. The other person spoke, initiating a conversation with Omo. "Senior, are you working overtime again today? Is it because of that rookie?" He replied, his tone slightly despondent. "Yeah, I'm writing a report." The other person sighed, glancing towards Jiang, and said, "If he just took responsibility, he'd definitely top the rankings. Where's the top-ranked assassin? Why choose a rookie like this and make things difficult?" He continued, "Rumor has it, his writing isn't even that good." He looked up and admitted, "That's true. I don't even know why I'm doing this anymore." Taking a sip of coffee, he mumbled to himself, "How should I put this? I guess it's because I sensed the desperation emanating from his words." "Maybe," Jiango said, staring at the computer screen. "Just a glimmer of hope." He added, "This is the same longing that I felt the day before Tihian's contract ended." Tihian sat listlessly, defeated, in the guild hall. "It's over. I'm doomed. The current word count of the manuscript is unacceptable." Tihian, a young man harboring a burning dream, yearning to become a famous web novelist, to write a truly captivating novel, one that's realistic and vivid, he needs to visit the C-rank fair, the jack of all trades. The current word count of the manuscript remains a big fat 0. Days left until the contract expires. Yun sat listlessly on the sofa, a distraught expression on his face, resigned. "It's over. I'm doomed. What if I get fired? I'm already 15 years old and haven't created a single decent comic." Suddenly, from the doorway, two men with menacing appearances burst into Yun's house. "Aren't they Yun's teammates? They must be preparing for a mission. We have an emergency at a B-rank gate this afternoon." "Yes, sir. Should I prepare my equipment to clear the gate?" "A gate mission, finally?" Yun excitedly turned towards the two men. His demeanor instantly changed, filled with enthusiasm, a stark contrast to his previous lethargy and dejection. "I'm finally going to participate in a real battle as a hunter. I have to finish the manuscript today." But then Yun took a closer look at the two men. He wondered, why do you both have such strange expressions? The two men sighed deeply, their faces etched with weariness. Strange? This time it's a B-rank gate. A thought suddenly struck Yun. Rank B should be easy, shouldn't it? Why worry so much? "But, for a C-rank guild like us, how could we," she muttered, "possibly clear a B-rank gate so easily on our own? If we decide to form an alliance with 3 other guilds," Yun suggested, "it would definitely minimize the risk significantly, wouldn't it?" "Yes, that's a good idea, but," the man replied to Yun, rubbing his temples, "the problem lies in choosing which guilds to fight alongside us. The gate is located in the Sirak Mountains, Kangwon Province, specifically Wolf Valley. A gate emanating a mysterious green energy, nestled within the valley. A gate radiating a brilliant green light, situated in the middle of a desolate valley. Surrounding it, a multitude of people and tents were densely packed." "Oh man, my back. It's been a while since I last climbed a mountain." Two members of Yun's guild arrived at the rendezvous point immediately after being teleported to the valley. They quickly changed into their gear, preparing for the upcoming mission. Why would a gate appear in such a remote place? Beggars can't be choosers, at least we have work. What's that newbie doing? That's weird. Yun seemed overwhelmed by the magnificent, unfamiliar scenery before her. He meticulously observed his surroundings and struck up conversations with the soldiers on duty. "So this is B-rank gate? The stone structure seems different from the others." Yun mused. "What kind of weapons do people use here? What about combat skills?" he asked curiously. Witnessing Yun's meticulous actions, the two men standing nearby couldn't help but look suspicious. He must be gathering information for that 10-document mission or something? One guessed. "Not sure. Maybe he's new and just taking notes on everything," the other replied. Suddenly, a voice boomed from behind them, startling both. "Someone there? Isn't that the famous Peacekeeper Guild?" The voice belonged to the leader of the C-rank Polar Bear Guild, Richard Beer. He possessed a burly, imposing physique, his thick beard radiating a fierce and commanding aura. Behind him were two underlings, exuding an equally dangerous presence. "Hey, You two go greet the newbie, Richard ordered. This is the famous philanthropist of the guild world, he said sarcastically. The man from Yun's guild immediately frowned, displeasure evident on his face. Why did we have to run into this obnoxious guy? He muttered. Ah, so this is the leader of the C-rank peacekeepers, Yun said calmly. Richard bent down, in a provocative manner as if to taunt Yun. Others train recruits with such impressive results, while he gets his recruits poached clean by other gangs. Pathetic, just consider it charity work. He's a true philanthropist. No one in their right mind would bother training members only to hand them over to another gang. Unable to bear the sarcastic taunts, a middle-aged man from Yun's side retorted, "What do you mean by that? I've heard enough. Our recruits aren't just anybody. How dare you speak to us with such disrespect?" Behind him, his fellow gang members, enraged, silently drew their weapons. The man angrily strode towards Richard Bear. "Isn't it enough that you steal our members? You dare to provoke another gang's leader like this?" Richard Bear's expression hardened, and he warned, "You brat, you've got some nerve. Adults are talking. How dare you interrupt? Besides Sa-Sian, who else here are you supposed to respect?" "Humph. All I see are a bunch of squabbling brats." As the brawl reached its peak intensity, a boisterous laugh suddenly erupted from behind. "Ah, how utterly ridiculous. Just a bunch of naive amateurs. What's the point of fighting amongst yourselves like this? Such a waste of energy." The speaker was none other than Samarian, guild leader of the C-rank Mantis Guild. "Wasting energy like this so early in the game? You'll need that strength to assist my guild once we're inside." Samarian's eyes flashed sharply, his overwhelming presence forcing the members of the Wan Family Harmony and Richard Bear guilds to falter. "At least put on a decent show. Otherwise, how do you expect to reap any rewards? Isn't that right, you fools?" Witnessing the fiery confrontation, Yun thought to himself, "This is bad. This much tension before even entering the gate? It's utterly brutal." Within Yun's mind, the image of Samarian's razor-sharp gaze lingered, haunting him. Members of the Polar Bear Guild, Richard Bear, possess immense size and strength, while members of the Harmony Guild are small in stature, looking like pitiful ants against such overwhelming power. This is the real world, raw and brutal. Lost in his own thoughts, Yun is suddenly struck by a slap to the back of his head. "Hey, Kid Yun!" A voice booms. "Why aren't you greeting the new recruit? These new recruits are incredibly slow. Let me tell you something. If you touch the monster I've chosen, you're asking for trouble." Yun whips around, glaring at his attacker. His eyes are icy, radiating a chilling aura. A cold wave emanates from Yun, terrifying the man who struck him. The man hastily puts on his glasses, stammering, "Oh no, yes, pleased to meet you. I look forward to working with you." With that, the man runs off, disappearing from sight. So even the support staff are competitive? Yun thinks to himself. Truth immediately records the event he just witnessed. Two men, same guild, called Yun Kid, just a bunch of newbies. Focus, don't get yourselves killed out here. Yes, thank you, seniors. As they stepped through the portal, a pack of ferocious wild wolves lay in wait, ready to tear apart anyone who dared to cross their path. The members of the MangaCaped drew their swords, preparing for battle. But Richard Bear was a step ahead, charging towards the wolf. "Out of the way. Move." He snatched the prey right in front of the MangaCaped.
Manhwa, enraget, he.
"What do you think you're doing? Dangerous. Don't like it? Do it yourself. You have to claim your share. Slowpokes like you will be left in the dust." Perfect. Done. The MangaCaped weren't doing much better. They had just managed to take down a wolf when their prize was snatched by members of the Bukyuk. "Oh, you're here? Sorry, chump," Yun observed from afar, witnessing the chaotic hunting scene of the transfer students. "Is this really a battle of professional hunters? It looks more like a chaotic free-for-all. Instead of cooperating, the hunters are squabbling over every little scrap of loot. They're willing to injure their own comrades, regardless of the consequences. I called it first. Let go. Get out of my way, you mutt. Do you want to die? I've never witnessed such a chaotic and pointless battle." Suddenly, the Mantis Guild leader speaks, his voice dripping with disdain. "No wonder having a monopoly is so enjoyable. With a monopoly, you can raid however you please. Let those bugs deal with the miscellaneous monsters first. Our guild will just focus on the final boss. Isn't this the most effective method?" "Exactly. Speak of the devil. In the distance, a pack of wolves, massive as mountains, charges forward. Their eyes glow crimson, burning with a terrifying killing intent. They rush towards the insect hunters guarding the gate. On the Mantis Guild side, everyone is prepared for battle. They simultaneously draw their weapons, ready to face the bloodthirsty wolf pack. Once this monster is down, reaching rank B is just a matter of time. The gang leader was overflowing with excitement. He charged forward, leading his men into battle. From now on, I won't be on the same level as those pathetic bugs. The Mantis Society swarmed, surrounding the boss wolf, slashing and hacking with a frenzied zeal. So this is the glorious feeling of changing my destiny. No one will dare look down on me again. Now, let's end this charade. Suddenly, an earth-shattering roar erupted right in front of the gang leader. A terrifying creature of darkness materialized. It took the form of a gigantic wolf, many times larger than the previous boss wolf. An overwhelming, bone-chilling aura of killing intent radiated from its body Tu Lang. Why would an A-rank monster appear here? Yun didn't seem fazed or afraid. On the contrary, he appeared utterly astonished. You mongrel pup. Long time no see. I suddenly remember wiping out that trash at the SG rank gate with you. The wolf stomped its foot on the ground. The sharp claws dug deep into the earth. In an instant, everything around them crumbled and shattered. Wherever its claws swept, hunters were sent flying, unable to offer any resistance. Samario froze in terror. Could these be the members of the Mantis Guild, hunted to the brink of death, running for their lives? The guild leader instantly recognized the situation. A gate shift. Rank 7, he exclaimed. A gate shift is a rare phenomenon where a gate suddenly increases in danger level due to the appearance of mid-level or high-level monsters. It's a completely unexpected and unpredictable event. Those Tu Lang can be kept as is, since it seems to be a creature name. Rank A monsters against Rank B hunters. It's like an insurmountable wall, an unbridgeable chasm of skill. A terrifying killing intent radiated from the rank A Tu Lang, causing the hunters to tremble uncontrollably. Fear gripped them so tightly they couldn't even hold their weapons steady.
Impossible.
How could a gate shift happen here? Why now? The survival rate of a rank C hunter in a rank A gate is more fragile than that of an ordinary person in a war zone. Inside the gate, the Tu Lang surged forward with terrifying speed. In the blink of an eye, the hunter's blood painted the battlefield crimson, transforming it into a living hell. Witnessing the horrific, bloody scene, the surviving hunters scattered in a panicked rout. Somebody help me. Please, save me. Sumerian couldn't accept the harsh truth before his eyes. His face contorted, twisted by a burning rage. Why? A B rank was so close. How could this happen? I worked so hard. I struggled so much. He tightened his grip on his weapon, veins bulging on his arms. Without hesitation, he charged into the snarling pack of Tu Lang. I can't die here. Absolutely not. As expected, Sumerian took a fatal blow from the Tu Lang's razor-sharp claws. He was flung back dozens of meters, his body crashing heavily to the ground. The surviving hunters completely lost their will to fight. They scattered in a panicked rout, desperate to escape the clutches of death. Help! Someone, please help me. Get out of the way. Move! Hoa, the leader of the 10,000 Harmonies Guild, roared. He tried to calm the panicked hunters. Everyone, calm down. Stay calm. Information regarding the gate's transition will be reported to the association immediately. If we stay calm, observe carefully, we still have a chance to escape this place, to survive and return. Quickly find cover. Hide yourselves well. The elite hunter force dispatched by the association will rescue us. I'll do my best to hold back the monsters. By time for everyone to escape. Hurry! President Everything Goes Well declared resolutely. The other hunters were moved by his courage and noble sacrifice. Thank you. I'm sorry. I have a family. President Everything Goes Well turned around, his gaze firm. Behind him, the pack of Tu Lang howled ferociously, bloodthirsty. I'm just a grain of sand against the monstrous power of this creature, but at least I have to buy enough time for everyone to retreat safely. Suddenly, a familiar voice cut through his thoughts. It was the voice of member Everything Goes Well. Why are you still grandstanding, playing the hero at a time like this? You really think the 12 apostles are going to show up? A sarcastic voice rang out. Let's turn the tables spectacularly. Dying like this? I'm not so sure I'm ready to kick the bucket. Don't act like you're the hero in some action movie. And don't imagine yourself looking all majestic in the middle of a brutal battlefield. The gang leader turned, looking at Yun with concern. Kid, you need to get out of here, find a safe place to hide. And I'm truly sorry for bringing you to this dangerous place. I see, now I understand everything. Someone must survive, escape to safety, and continue the fight. And some will fall, sacrificing themselves for the greater good. But this is the battlefield, where the brave face death, and are willing to fight to their last breath. This is the harsh reality, not a game. Thank you all for fighting alongside me. The more recklessly the members of the 10,000 Harmonies Society charged, the more tragic their fate became. They were repelled, unable to reach their target.
Đam Tử Lan.
Why can't we land a single hit? Seo, you need to find a way out. Suddenly, a brilliant golden light appeared, streaking across the sky with terrifying speed like lightning, leaving the gang leader stunned in disbelief. Huh? You little punk. Yun lunged forward, ending his charade with a blinding flash of lightning. He pointed towards the screaming Tu Lang. Deadly lightning bolts descending like 1,000 silver arrows from the sky. They crashed down upon the Tu Lang without mercy. At a mere 5% power, the ground trembled violently, as if ripped apart by the terrifying force. The two members of the Myriad Things Society were wide-eyed, witnessing a horror they had never seen before. What in the world is going on? Whoa, that's wicked cool. Leader Yun turned back to the Myriad Family Society, offering a reassuring nod. Everything was under control. That's what a real hunter is all about. Suddenly, a ferocious Tu Lang lunged from behind, jaws agape, attempting to devour Yun. I've learned a lot from you guys, Yun said coldly. He snapped his fingers, summoning another bolt of lightning, which struck the Tu Lang with lightning speed. Is that kid the Lightning Emperor? Yun cleaned his glasses, reassuring his members with a confident smile. My bad. But the manuscript deadline is fast approaching. I must take my leave. Keep this to yourself. Okay? Of course, and you should probably get that wound treated. As Yun finished speaking, his form vanished into thin air, leaving behind a faint circle of lightning on the ground. Mark was stunned by the sight. The guild members remained speechless, still reeling from the unbelievable scene they had just witnessed. What just happened? That was unbelievable. Elsewhere, rescue forces had arrived. We've arrived on scene, confirming an explosion at A rank gate. 2 survivors detected. Prioritized treatment for the injured. Early this morning, a sudden gate conversion incident occurred, altering the danger level of a gate. Fortunately, the hunters present at the scene were successfully rescued. 23:59, just 1 minute before the contract with Tihian officially expired, the editor's phone suddenly vibrated with a new message notification. The sender was none other than Tihian. I'm sorry for sending this late. Here's the manuscript. The editor quickly picked up his phone, meticulously reviewing the final draft. With only a minute to spare before the deadline, he hurriedly submitted. This time it's going to be better, he told himself. The editor was engrossed in rereading the manuscript when he suddenly stopped, a look of surprise on his face. Unexpectedly captivating. This is going to be huge in the next few days, he exclaimed excitedly. Meanwhile, Hoa, the leader of the Van Jia Guild, rejoiced in utter delight. I'm back, he declared triumphantly. Startled pedestrians quickly moved away from him as if avoiding evil. Oh my, scary. That's a hunter. Close your eyes, child, don't look. A mother hurriedly shielded her child's eyes. Hoa smiled smugly, thinking to himself, if they knew the truth, they'd be shocked speechless. Because I'm back to rank C. I went to my cousin's rank B guild to train, relentlessly honing my skills, for almost half a year now. On the long road ahead, the path to the summit will surely be filled with countless obstacles and challenges, but they are all valuable lessons for me to temper myself and grow stronger. And after countless days and nights of relentless training, pouring all my effort into cultivation, I have finally broken through my limits, surpassing the mediocre rank D hunter level. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Farewell to the title of Trash Hunter, Choi Eon-sik. Now, I'm a C-rank hunter. I'm your equal now. But why is it so quiet? You all knew I was coming back today. Or maybe, Eon-sik pictured a grand welcome in his mind. Welcome back, Eon-sik. Congratulations, Eon-sik. Where have you been all this time? You've grown up. Kid, there's gotta be a surprise party, right? Alright, let's just play along. Eon-sik excitedly threw open the door, shouting, Guys, I'm back. Before Eon 6 stood Yun, diligently writing in a manuscript. There was no welcome party whatsoever. Who are you? And you are? Ah, I'm Tihian, the new gate supporter.
Gate supporter?
Hearing that, Eon 6's face contorted with disdain. A gate supporter, so you must be F rank, the lowest of all ranks, right? Yes. But coincidentally, I just got promoted to F rank hunter. Let me show you the ropes, kid. What? The guild leader and Solho were still in shock from the earth-shattering events of that day. Turns out that kid was the legendary Thunder Emperor. I had the Thunder Emperor cleaning toilets all this time? Yeah, that's right. The guild leader patted Solho on the shoulder, comforting him. Come on, don't be sad. Even someone as strong as me had to start somewhere. Even if I left, you wouldn't escape cleaning duty. That's true. But why would the Thunder Emperor join our small guild? If I knew, I wouldn't have made him clean. Well, he revealed his identity and left. I guess we won't see him again. I should have asked for his autograph. Now, having one of the 12 apostles in our guild would bring huge benefits, like access to high-level dungeons. We could complete quests easier and our guild rank would soar. The guild leader scolded him. That's not the point, you idiot. Good heavens, what in the world are you yelling about? You scared the soul out of me. I nearly fainted. Don't you realize how serious this is? We're in a critical situation.
Seulo retorted,
flashing back to the terrifying moment he was brutally beaten by the purple wolves yesterday. Yeah, I know. How could I not? I almost died back there, and you're asking if I know? Seriously, what caused the gate to shift so suddenly? It's the immense magical power from the hunters entering the gate. This unusual gate fluctuation, it was definitely caused by that kid, Reiju, which means if we keep working with Reiju, every time we enter a gate we're risking our lives. I'm out. I have a family to take care of. I can't take these risks. The guild leader wailed dramatically, approaching Song Ho and loudly protesting, absolutely not, and please stay away from me. You're talking like Reiju's about to join our guild. Don't be ridiculous. I was just saying, why are you overreacting? There's no way Reiju would join our guild. You're thinking too much. They begin to chant in unison. Inside the guild hall, Ionic is loudly lecturing Yun, the newly recruited rookie. In this harsh and cruel world of hunters, F rank isn't a hunter. Yun immediately repeats, F rank isn't a real hunter. Oh, how naive. Ionic crosses his arms with an arrogant look. But don't worry, meeting me is the luckiest thing that will ever happen to you. I will personally help you become a famous A-rank hunter. To achieve that, there's one fundamental thing, more important than anything else. Yun listens intently, repeating, most important? Exactly. So let's start by clearing out this monster den. Ionic says as he turns around. Oh, my brothers, long time no see. The guild leader suddenly unleashes a devastating punch, landing squarely on Ionic's face without hesitation. Shut your mouth, Choi Ionic. The guild leader and Sol Ho, the vice leader, have had enough and decide to teach him a lesson he won't forget. Everyone, what are you doing? Yun asks in a panic. Do you have any idea what you just did? I don't understand. Yun stood nearby, observing this intriguing lesson, thinking to himself, this place is a treasure trove of inspiration. He suddenly recalled his discussion with his editor about this draft. Excellent. The realism, in particular, has dramatically improved. The ruthless selfishness of the hunters has transformed the battlefield into a living hell. The protagonist's extraordinary courage, his willingness to sacrifice himself for his comrades, and the suffering and torment stemming from those events, it's all incredibly impactful. If you continue developing it in this direction, publication is just a matter of time. Hearing such praise from his editor, Yun couldn't believe his ears. He was filled with enthusiasm, more motivated than ever. Published? Did I hear that right? Actually published? My chance has finally come. Coming here was definitely the right decision. I need to gather more information to prepare for the launch. What are you writing? Don't tell me it's the Death Note? At that thought, Bang Ju and Sol Ho felt a chill run down their spines, terrified beyond words. He's definitely plotting to document all our sins, so he can get revenge on each of us later. Amidst the tense atmosphere, Yun suddenly spoke, breaking the silence. Alright, I have something I want to share with everyone. Something for us? What is it? Don't tell me it's lightning. Are you really going to feed us lightning? The gang leader recoiled in fear. Wait a minute, I have a family, a wife and children. These are tickets to the Storm the Gates competition, including Ion Sick, that's 4 people in total. Will participate together with the strongest team from Everything Goes Well. Just this once. Hearing this, Ion 6 stirred from his beating and exclaimed, "All right, let me broaden your horizons." The gang leader held the ticket in his hand, still unable to believe what he had just heard. For people, including Ion 6, so that kid's participating too? Yes, sir, I truly wish to join the 10,000 Waves Guild. As Yun finished speaking, Guild leader Sol Ho was utterly shocked, speechless with astonishment. Yun calmly sat down, expressing his desire to negotiate. So, in order for me to gather 10 crucial documents, I must officially become a member of the 10,000 Harmonies Guild. Harmonies, Thunder Emperor. No, Tian, I think I understand why you're doing this. I also understand why you want to join our guild. However, a figure of your caliber, the Thunder Emperor, operating in a C-rank guild seems. Se-Ung Ho, standing beside him, immediately spoke up, "Accept him into the guild." You brat, I just told you I'm not joking around anymore.
I am completely serious, Se-Ung Ho replied.
Remember the early days when we first formed this guild? Just 5 of us, clueless, coming together and starting from scratch. Then gradually 10 people, 20 people. The guild's membership grew over time, and we've shared wonderful years together, filled with memories. We also cherish dreams, goals, a yearning to reach further, didn't we? Like Richard once said, one by one, they quietly abandoned their dreams, returning to face the harsh reality. And finally, we too resigned ourselves to our current lives, burying our burning desires. But brother, honestly, deep down in your heart, there's still a lingering regret for not reaching the dreams of the past. Song Ho placed a hand on the guild leader's shoulder, his voice full of confidence. I'll help you achieve that. The young man standing before us isn't Thunder Emperor, one of the 12 legendary apostles, but just a young man yearning to fulfill his own dream. And brother, this is also a great opportunity for our guild. Why don't we try one more time? Because Ji-Ho always. Song Ho's sincere words touched the guild leader's heart. All right, let's do it. The one joining our guild isn't Thunder Emperor, but Taehyun, a talented gate supporter, and he dreams of becoming a famous web novelist. The guild leader suddenly recalled the person in the photo, the unfulfilled dreams. Dreams, huh? All right, I agree. It's a pleasure to have you, kid. Taehyun replied happily. It's a pleasure to be here. From afar, in the 10,000 Things Go Up in Flames Guild, a man spoke up. Absolutely. The supporter that the guild leader mentioned. I finally found it. This chapter 9 will help you become a top hunter. In a quiet cafe, Ayun is diligently writing a script and dialogue. He seems quite focused, making the cafe staff incredibly curious. What is that guy doing? He's been mumbling to himself the whole time. Just leave him be. At least he's helping boost the cafe's sales. Ayun seems to have ordered a lot of drinks. While writing his script here, suddenly, a tall figure swiftly passes by the 2 waiters. The unexpected appearance startles and frightens them. It's Du Huang, the powerful guild leader. He directs his gaze towards Ayun. I need to speak with that person. Can I borrow the cafe for a moment? Both of you as well. Just for 30 minutes. And I'll compensate you handsomely. As he finishes speaking, he opens a briefcase filled with money. The 2 waiters, seeing this, exclaim joyfully, "We'll clear the place right away." After a long period of seclusion, hidden from the world, fate has finally brought us together again. The chairman of the Golden Guild approached Yun, each heavy step, exuding a terrifying, bone-chilling aura. It seems there are still some unresolved issues between us. Wouldn't you agree? Thunder Emperor, how has life been treating you lately? Contrary to his previous coldness and murderous aura, he suddenly embraced Yun affectionately. It's been far too long since I last saw you, since I could see you so healthy with my own eyes. My Thunder Emperor, I've missed you like crazy. I've been beside myself with worry.
I'm Buse.
I don't have time for idle chatter. Please don't bother me. Yun unleashed a powerful bolt of lightning, forcing the man to step back. You're still as stubborn and unapproachable as ever. But this time, I won't let you get away so easily. Get away with what? What are you talking about? What else could it be? Don't tell me you're going to deny your responsibilities? Since you retired, you haven't answered my calls even once. He roared angrily. Yun retorted, do you know what time it is? Are you aware that your incessant calls are the reason for my chronic insomnia? If you would just show your face once in a while, I wouldn't need to contact you so frequently. How dare you speak to me, your elder, with such disrespect? You're not even related to me. Suddenly, They erupted into a heated argument, like a bolt from the blue. In truth, there was no blood relation between these two men. But now that we've met, I have things to do. I'll take my leave. I'm leaving. The older man finally regained his composure and sat down. But before you go, answer me this. Why have you suddenly returned to the path of a hunter? He finished his question with a stern and knowing look, but he was met with Yun's icy silence, as if he hadn't heard a thing. Alright, Yun, speaking of which, those shoes you asked me to hold, they're an extremely rare, limited edition black colorway, designed by a subsidiary of Gil Suho's company. Only 100 pairs exist in the entire world. The most skilled hunters in the world would sweat blood and tears, spending countless efforts just to possess it. Yet, I had to go through so much trouble, overcome countless obstacles to find 3 pairs for you. It was truly an arduous journey. And lately in the company, there are rumors spreading about the chairman abusing his power. Yun's face clearly showed boredom and fatigue, as he had to listen to his grandfather ramble on about everything under the sun. He slammed his laptop shut in frustration and said, I need the identity of the gatekeeper to gather 10 materials for writing stories. So, I made a deal with Park Dahan, on the condition that I make a comeback. What? You made a deal with the association president again? Why didn't you go to our guardian? He shook his head as he spoke. The guardian is too powerful. It would ruin the authenticity of the story. Authenticity? What do you mean? Yun smirked, his eyes filled with exasperation. Ugh. Seriously. You can't expect much from fledgling hunters, barely hatched. How can they possibly grasp the harsh realities of this perilous hunter's world? It's just the way things are. A writer was criticized by his editor for lacking realism and vibrancy in his work. He said that, suddenly he started yelling and shouting, making no sense whatsoever. But didn't you say I needed to gather 10 documents? Just join the Guardians, and I'll immediately make you my successor. Eon quickly interrupted him, preventing him from continuing his rambling. I've already joined a guild. What did you say? I said I've officially joined a guild. And please don't mention the successor thing again. I don't want to discuss it. He burst into laughter, a booming sound, his face beaming with joy. Seems I've lost this round. You recruited Thunder Emperor into your guild? Unbelievable. That's my boy. How about the Guardians by your guild? Don't joke about serious matters like that, father. I just officially joined. Don't try anything funny. Alright, how could I possibly stop you? Even if I tried, I couldn't. The old man placed his hand on Yun's shoulder, his voice booming like thunder. Thunder Emperor? No, Yun Wung. What is it? What is it now? Listen to me, this is important. You've re-emerged. So surely someone will recognize your true identity. And when that happens, danger will surely follow. Never forget this. What's the big deal about these trivial matters? The old man interrupted Yun, looking directly into his eyes with a stern gaze, slowly saying, it's not you, but the people around you. They aren't strong. They don't possess extraordinary power like you. And suddenly, the image of a young boy with blonde hair, bearing a striking resemblance to Yun, flashed in his mind. The memory interrupted his train of thought. Anything else, old man? Hang in there, kiddo. If you face hardship, if you can't overcome it alone, come find us. We'll always be here to protect you. I told you I got this. Alright, I'm leaving, he said, affectionately ruffling Yun's hair. Now you know how to live each moment to the fullest. He strode out of the cafe, surrounded by a formidable team of bodyguards. Hey, Secretary Kim. How much did it cost to acquire this cafe last time? About 1 billion won, sir. Is that so? Then how much would it take to buy that entire publishing house? He asked imposingly, stepping into his luxurious car. The car door slammed shut, and the vehicle sped off, disappearing in a flash. Across the bustling street, a man in a sleek black suit was engrossed in a phone call. Yes, I'm certain. He had a meeting with Do Wang. On the other end of the line, a notorious crime boss held Yun's profile in his hand, sneering. First the association president, now Do Wang? He's clearly just a useless, talentless Ephraim. Wait, Do Wang treated him like his own nephew? Could it be that Do Wang? Impossible. Could the rumors about Do Wang having a cherished nephew actually be true? He couldn't believe the thought forming in his own mind. His face drained of all color. The target just stepped out of the cafe. Abort the original plan immediately. Stop. Quickly inform them to cancel the assassination. The one we were about to eliminate Is Dowang's beloved nephew, the bastard who just rammed Aeon, is Dowang's own nephew. He's 10 times more dangerous than our original target. Dowang's nephew. Do you understand the gravity of this situation? The impact was so strong, it knocked Yun's glasses off. What? Dowang's actual nephew? This shocking news sent the man in the suit into a complete panic. His hands trembled, dropping his phone. I don't know anything, he stammered, fleeing the scene, leaving behind a chaotic and devastating aftermath. Looking at this, he's definitely dead, right? The 2 henchmen in the car grinned savagely, seemingly satisfied. Wait, what's happening? But Yun stood frozen, stunned in front of the truck. What the hell is this? A monster. Damn it. Wasn't this a straight path? Is it just a forced gate support? I don't know. Kill it. 2 aggressive men, weapons in hand, charged towards Yun. Oh my, why did a car suddenly rush out like that? No wonder Mom told me not to walk and look at my phone at the same time. With lightning-fast reflexes, Yun dodged the thug's attack. Suddenly, electric sparks erupted from Yun's hands, knocking down the 2 attackers. In the blink of an eye, I accidentally used my powers. Are you guys okay? Yun was horrified by her own actions. Did anyone see that? It's Du Hong. It's really Du Hong. Fortunately, thanks to Du Huang's fame, no one noticed the recent altercation. Yun breathed a sigh of relief. Turns out that old man can be helpful sometimes. Aren't they both hunters? Why would they attack me? What's going on? I need to ask Daehan to clarify everything. The ambulance arrived at the scene of the attack and quickly rushed the 2 injured men to the hospital. I sincerely apologize, Leon. I know they often act recklessly and aggressively, but I never thought they would dare go this far. This time, their actions are truly outrageous. Daehan clasped his hands in apology, his face filled with remorse. So you know who attacked me? You know them? I know exactly who they are. They're notorious for being immoral, acting like wolves. Their character is nothing short of being gnawed on by dogs. Mid-sentence, Daehan suddenly flinched at the chilling killing intent radiating from Leon. He tried to regain his composure and continued. The strangers who attacked you are members of the Scott Guild. That guild has been a dangerous organization for several years now. After you retired, they provided financial support to the Korean Association, which was facing a budget deficit. That guild leader Yo Jinnam is known for being ruthless, willing to step on anyone to achieve his own ambitions. I just met him not long ago. He came looking for me right when you arrived, so I sent him away. He's definitely plotting revenge. He wouldn't dare to make a move on me, the chairman of this association. So he'll definitely target Aeon at headquarters F. I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have gotten involved with someone like him. Just then, Aeon suddenly unleashed a massive surge of electricity, raw power overflowing. The force was so overwhelming that Daehan clutched his chest, struggling to remain calm. Just standing this close, I feel like my heart is about to burst from my chest. This is the power of the Thunder Emperor Yun. Calm down, if you're worried about the guild hall right now, I'll do my best to control my energy and not cause any damage. So please, restrain your power. Turned out Yun wasn't angry, but incredibly excited by this. This is amazing. So, this is the true face of this harsh world. A fierce battle between seasoned hunters is still raging outside the gates, ready to slaughter each other at the slightest provocation. How ruthless. If our protagonist can overcome these arduous trials and mature, how much more captivating and dramatic will this story become? Yun quickly regained his composure, returning to his normal state. His eyes lit up, brimming with confidence. You don't need to intervene. Everything's all right now. Dahan and the secretary were scared out of their wits. What happened? Yes, as expected, from now on, things will get even more interesting. Just wait and see. Due Nam, enraged, roared at his incompetent underlings. You fools! I ordered the mission aborted. Why did you dare to act on your own? If you're going to do something, do it cleanly and thoroughly. Yet you let him get beaten half to death, needing hospitalization? How dare you still call yourselves members of the Scott gang? The bald man trembled, stammering in protest. Biba, it seems like he had a secret protector. A flash of lightning, and he vanished without a trace. Before he could finish, a thunderous punch landed squarely on his face. The force of the devastating blow sent him flying several meters. Lightning? What a pathetic excuse. Are you trying to tell me that the one protecting that gate runner was the Thunder Emperor himself? A renowned member of the Scott? Made a fool of by some punk kid? You're joking, right? His underlings trembled in fear, bowing deeply. We sincerely apologize. Useless fools. He slumped into his chair, hand to his forehead, a thoughtful frown on his face. Damn it, this isn't just about that gate runner anymore. If he really is the Emperor's grandson, he won't let this slide. The Emperor, leader of one of the 4 great guilds. It's already done. Stopping now won't change anything. Is that gate runner in any guild? An underling respectfully replied. Yes, sir, he's a member of a low-ranking guild called Everything Goes Well. Buy out all those guilds for me. I'll take them all, so no guild will dare harbor him anymore. In for a penny, in for a pound, we can't stop now. Kidnap his family. As he finished, a sinister, devilish smile crept across his lips. Tae Gseo just stepped out of the convenience store. The modern world is so convenient. It's midnight and I can still buy ice cream. What movie should I watch next when I get home? She strolled along, scrolling through her phone. In the distance, Yoji Nam's henchmen lay in wait. They suddenly appeared from behind her. In the blink of an eye, they subdued and captured Tae Gseo. We got her. Get her out of here. It all happened so fast and unexpectedly. Tae Gseo still hadn't grasped what was happening to her. Wait, what's going on? A dark night blanketed a deserted, abandoned house. The Skopin Guild had successfully kidnapped Tae Gseo. No matter how strong Du Huang is, he could never have seen this coming. Rank S, those are individuals possessing extraordinary abilities, far surpassing the limits of ordinary humans. Just a few of the Thursday Ho captains making a move, not even mentioning Du Hong, and our guild will crumble like mud. However, if Du Hong truly loves his nephew as the rumors say, then he is ultimately just a mortal like us. His bloodline is held hostage by us. He wouldn't dare risk using his full power. So, from now on, let's act according to Skatian's plan. We will gradually tighten the noose, step by step seizing what we desire. A golden opportunity has arrived. If we can take advantage of this situation to secretly manipulate and control Thursday Ho, then our Skatian guild will become the most powerful force in South Korea. Then he approached, removing the mask concealing Tae Gseo's face. Wait a minute, I've never heard anyone mention him having a niece. Let's see, what does she look like? The hood was pulled off. Tae Gseo instantly locked eyes with him, her gaze sharp as a knife. The sudden action startled him, filling him with terror. You Crimson Flames, how dare you act so insolently towards the Emperor? He roared indignantly. Tae Gseo coolly retorted, skillfully utilizing her special ability. The hood and the ropes binding her hands were quickly incinerated into ashes by intense flames. In the blink of an eye, she was free. Do you need something from our guild leader? What's your next plan? She asked, her voice dripping with defiance. As soon as Tae Gseo finished speaking, she unleashed a powerful fire technique. Skotin Guild's underlings scattered in panic. I've never been kidnapped before, you know, she said scornfully. At least make this game a little more interesting. Meanwhile, the Universal Harmony Guild stood before a mysterious spatial gate. The gate emanated an eerie purple light. Iosik stretched, exclaiming, "This day has finally come. Watch closely, kid," he said confidently. "Today, I'll show you who the guild's true trump card is." Hearing this, Yun quickly jotted everything down. He excitedly recounted the story in one go with effortless ease, just like a main character stepping out of a comic book. Witnessing this, the guild leader and Sol Ho couldn't help but worry. They both felt he was becoming increasingly strange. This is a headache. What the hell is going on? They wondered. An indescribable sense of unease crept into their hearts. Yun suddenly turned, a bright smile spreading across his face. "Guild leader, I sincerely thank you for accepting me," he said. "Coming here was truly the right decision. No, we are the ones who should be thanking you." What the? Why? What happened? Why ask? Isn't it obvious? Today we're allowed to raid the Sky Gate. All thanks to the ticket you brought last time. Actually, we have our pride, you know, so we'd rather earn it ourselves, conquer the gate with our own strength. Sol Ho said, throwing a friendly arm around Yun's shoulder. But that wretched Skatian guild monopolized all the raiding rights. We tried to bid, but failed. Upon hearing the name of that loathsome Yajinam's guild, Yun's face darkened. Skatian? Frightened by Yun's killing intent, Sol Ho quickly backed away, turning to their leader. Boss, what's wrong? Do you know them? No, it's just, did I do something wrong? I don't know. Fear was evident on Solho's face. Meanwhile, Ionzich was oblivious to what was happening. He yelled, "Brothers, let's go. My blood's boiling. Hey, you there. Wanna come with us?" Yun looked at his phone with a bored expression, sighing deeply. It was a message from Co Taejai. She even playfully attached a selfie. "I've taken care of those scorpions who kidnapped me." "It looks like you kidnapped them, not the other way around. So, something did happen?" "Who knows?" asked Jinam. "Who's Jinam anyway?" "The one who kidnapped me. I hear he's the leader of the scorpions." Reading this, Yun cracked a knowing smile. "Honey, I need a favor. Consider it repaid with a wish coupon." That useless guy finally replied. "What's the favor?" "Meet me by the warehouse." The scorpions lay scattered, badly beaten. Panicked, they scattered like bees from a broken hive, narrowly escaping with their lives. "Boss, what in the world happened? I can't understand it." Boss Jinam and his underlings hung their heads in shame. "We're sorry, Co Taejai. We know we messed up. Get out, and don't ever pull another stupid stunt like this again. To be humiliated by a mere brat, this is unbearable." His underling muttered in discontent. "Yeah, this is so frustrating. They say she's S-rank, but up close, she's just a pretty little girl. If we all rushed her at once."
Vì nằm ở group inferi, sút do mau thở.
"You idiots. Do you even know who Hong Diem is? With a flick of her wrist, she can turn everything to ash. Even that gate, it wasn't Hong Diem. It was the intense heat radiating from inside the gate. Fire mages are incredibly rare among hunters, and she's capable of wide-scale attacks. You think just being pretty qualifies you for S-rank? You fools. You're lucky to have escaped with just a beating. Damn it. How did things get so messed up? Who knew Hong Diem was Old Man Huang's granddaughter? I just wanted to teach that arrogant support a lesson. Just you wait. Jin Nam, may retreat for now, but I will definitely get my revenge. Hey, hold it right there.
Tae Yiseo.
Jin Nam shouted, slowly advancing towards them. Jin Nam suddenly cowered, feigning fear and subservience. "Didn't you promise to let us go?" he asked, his voice trembling. "Or, how about we escort you home?" he offered in a flattering tone. "Didn't I change my mind?" Tae Gseo scoffed. "Why?"
Jin Nam stam.
"Because it's been a long time since Taehyun asked me for a favor," she replied casually. "I also wanted to see if there was anything interesting going on." Tae Gseo continued. "But it turns out." She paused. "You dared to lay a hand on my little brother?" Tae Gseo growled, her killing intent soaring. "Boss, you brought this upon yourselves," one of the underlings warned. "Annoying that brat is my job," Tae Gseo declared coldly. Tae Gseo snapped her fingers, summoning a fire technique in the shape of a ferocious fire dragon. The ferocious fire dragon lunged forward, incinerating everything in its path. "Oh my!" she exclaimed. "I feel like the main character in a comic book," Tae Gseo thought excitedly. In the blink of an eye, everything inside the warehouse was reduced to ashes. Tae Gseo smiled with satisfaction. The incident became known as the Crimson Flame Massacre, perpetrated by Tae Gseo and 12 members of the Scott Ion Gang. The entire Scott Ion Gang was completely annihilated, and all of South Korea was shocked by an unprecedented massacre. Kidnapping an S-rank individual? Unbelievable. Well, isn't this a novel way to commit suicide? Talk about reckless. How could anyone conceive of such a ludicrous plan? Kidnapping an S-rank? Especially Hong Yom, an incredibly dangerous figure. Perhaps because they're the most powerful among the A-rank guilds. They've grown arrogant and conceited, looking down on everyone. The entire newsroom is in an uproar, buzzing with this shocking news. The editor opens his phone, suddenly receiving a message from Yun. What the hell is going on with him? What is he doing? Editor, I sincerely apologize. I'll definitely submit the draft tomorrow. Please don't worry. At Yun's house, GCO is throwing a fit, yelling because she wants to know the truth behind the incident. Who the hell are they that you have to personally beg me for help? Want to know that badly? Are you that curious? Yun calmly replies, then use a wish. Fat chance, I'm telling you. Last time, because of those damn sport ions, the draft was submitted late. Now it's some chimpanzee causing trouble again? As soon as he finished speaking, GCO lunged at Yun, giving him a beating. You jerk? Who's a chimpanzee? Okay. I'm sorry, I was wrong. I'll let that gorilla finish you off. Yun was terrified, stammering, I said I didn't need my guild's help. They were bullying our guild. We almost died, and I haven't finished writing my story yet. My guild. GCO seemed unable to believe her ears. She quickly asked, yes, that's right. I don't like a fuss, so let's keep it a secret for now. Hearing that, GCO bolted out of her mother's room. Dad is amazing. Tihian joined the guild. That old battle axe is actually Tihian.
Yiseo.
Sit down and eat your dinner properly. Tihian.
Yiseo.
Eat your food properly. We maintain order in the Everything's Alright Guild. Yun placed 2 gift bags on the table in front of Sol, mumbling, what are you holding? My parents asked me to give these to you. They said thank you for accepting their son into the guild. No need, we should be thanking you. Big brother is sleeping. Later. I'll tell him later. Ionic is working late too, so later for him as well. Yes. Exactly. Have you heard the news about the Skoptian Guild kidnapping Hong Diem? It's shocking. Their actions are truly reprehensible. How dare they steal our right to breach the gate? They've sown the wind and now they'll reap the whirlwind. Yun was stunned upon hearing Sol Ho. Sorry, I couldn't contain my emotions, but I feel like there's something shady going on, something I can't quite grasp. These 2 incidents seem completely unrelated, their ranks worlds apart, yet there's some connection between them. Could this just be a coincidence? Hearing this, a worried expression spread across Yun's face. This isn't good. I have a bad feeling about this. There has to be a reason behind all of this. Isn't everything just too strange? The Skoptian Guild is already renowned, one of the top A-rank guilds. So why would they suddenly steal the right to breach gates, a right that should have been auctioned off to us? Not to mention the shocking act of kidnapping an S-rank individual. Anxiety washed over Yun, causing him to tremble. Could it be that he's found out I'm the cause of everything? If I become an obstacle for the guild, will I be expelled? Putting all the pieces together, there's only one possible conclusion. Yun clasped his hands together, bowing his head in apology. He feared expulsion from the guild if he continued causing trouble. I swear this won't happen again. Please, don't kick me out of the guild. Contrary to Yun's panic, Sol Ho seemed completely indifferent. He held the ticket, a gleeful expression spreading across his face as he exclaimed, oh my god, we're going to be rich. Those high-ranking hunters. What's the point of them putting on this charade? There's only one logical explanation. Inside the gate we're about to bid on, there must be a hidden treasure. Luckily, the Scotian have been eliminated, so the right to raid the gate they stole has been returned to us. Now we just sit back and enjoy the spoils. The guild leader, sound asleep, was jolted awake by his shouting. He immediately unleashed a swift kick to punish the noisy Co Unho. Would you please let me get some shut-eye? With all this good luck lately, am I dreaming of riches now? What treasure? Don't be ridiculous. You startled me awake. It's true, I had to work hard to win this at auction. Now that the kid's here, let's get going. Once this job's done, I still have mercenary work to do. If we just find this treasure, then this dreadful mercenary work will be over immediately. Yes, that's right. I wish I could quit right now. Yun breathed a sigh of relief, realizing he wouldn't be fired. That was close. Suddenly, his phone vibrated, displaying a notification. New message. I'd like to have a brief meeting regarding the draft you submitted this morning. Are you free now? It was a message from his editor. It must be about the manuscript feedback. At a quiet cafe, author, you're here. First of all, I've thoroughly read your manuscript. This draft is a significant improvement compared to when we discussed terminating the contract. I appreciate that, but there are still a few points I'm not entirely comfortable with. For example, when does our protagonist officially become a B-rank hunter? Things like that, specific details. Recently, your writing style has become much more vivid, authentic, and engaging. However, the current content mainly revolves around everyday events and still lacks major events, crucial turning points to propel the protagonist's development and growth. Therefore, the plot seems to lack a significant breakthrough. Typically, the protagonist's journey begins as an ordinary person. Then they face countless hardships and challenges, through which they temper themselves, constantly growing stronger. And readers will accompany them on this arduous journey of growth, ultimately feeling satisfied, empathetic, and experiencing a cathartic release of their own emotions. Yun had a question and asked, are you referring to a coming-of-age story for the character? Exactly. Even the renowned 12 apostles, with their extraordinary powers, weren't born at the pinnacle. They forged themselves, constantly striving to become stronger, overcoming countless hardships and trials, enduring hundreds of fierce battles. It was these very hardships that tempered them into the indomitable heroes they are today. It was this arduous journey, filled with obstacles, that made them great, admired and revered by all. Except for the Thunder Emperor, a special case, isn't it? Rumor has it, he possessed innate abilities, terrifying power from the moment he was born. Yun thought to himself, yes, the Thunder Emperor's case is quite unique, even I don't know much about it. The editor placed his coffee cup on the table, his sharp gaze fixed on Yun, and said with a firm tone, now, it's time for your protagonist to enter a true stage of growth. So that means in the next episode, you have to create a scenario where the protagonist overcomes adversity and breaks through to become even stronger. Yes, I understand. The editor glanced at his wristwatch. Oh dear, it's late. I apologize, but I have another important meeting. I have to go now. I'll see you later. Yes, goodbye. I'm very grateful for your valuable feedback. Allow me to share one more thing before I leave. I hope you'll take some time to thoroughly reflect on the growth and development of the character you've created, because the protagonist's journey will originate from this crucial point. With that, the editor stood up and walked out, leaving John deep in contemplation. The main character's growth? What does that even mean? What does it truly mean to mature? John couldn't stop thinking about the advice he'd received. He remembered the saying, all beginnings are difficult. The 13-year-old sat lost in thought before his computer screen, a pensive look in his eyes. Before him was an online forum where people sought help and advice. John was searching for answers to the perplexing question of character development. For his comic, Hunter, I need to write a story about the main character's journey, overcoming challenges to rise from rank C to rank B. But I'm completely stuck. I don't know where to begin or how to write it. How can I portray growth in a way that feels real and convincing? Below John's post were a flood of comments, advice, and suggestions from the online community. Mature? Simple just described the process of the main character gaining extraordinary power, or possessing a magical artifact to become overpowered. What if the character trains rigorously to increase their strength? Another comment retorts, no way. Not only will external strength develop, but the depth of the plot will also diminish. There must be growth, development of the main character's soul. Yun, do you have a question? You mean there needs to be internal growth too? What is internal growth then? He immediately posts another question, what is internal growth? The comment above immediately replies, this is very difficult to explain in words. The most common method is to have the character overcome deep psychological trauma. Or you can also use intense internal conflict. For example, the main character has difficulty with social interaction, so, building friendships could be considered a part of growing up. Or, for example, helping a friend in need and sharing experiences with them, growing together, that counts too. Yun slumped face down on the table, mumbling, good grief, what is it already? I don't understand at all. But, if it's about my teammates' growth, I can still observe it, right? Here it comes. Before the leader of the Everything Harmony Guild, a massive, powerful brown bear appeared. Its eyes glowed with ferocious red light as it charged forward with terrifying speed. Hold the formation, the guild leader commanded loudly. Solho and Ion, hearing their leader's call, immediately responded, yes sir. The ferocious bear lunged closer, swinging its razor-sharp claws, slamming them into the ground. The ground instantly tore open, forming a large fissure. Just below the bear's terrifying claws, the guild leader managed to block the attack. Sorry, I went a little too hard, the guild leader said. Asterisk, this line seems to be a mistake and refers to line 272. Keeping it as is per instructions. Asterisk, Solho and Ion, hearing their names, replied in unison, yes sir. The three worked together seamlessly, creating a dramatic and spectacular battle, at least to them. But Yun felt no excitement whatsoever. No inspiration, no ideas sparked in his mind. Just emptiness. Come to think of it, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks even, every single day was fighting, and more fighting. What kind of growing up is this? There's no material for reference, no spark for creativity. If this continues, Yun imagined the cold editor tearing up his contract. "I'm sorry, author Yun. I think we have to terminate this contract." The words struck him like lightning. After defeating the giant bear, the guild leader praised them. "Well done. Everyone worked hard," he said with a grateful tone. The guild leader turned to Yun and was surprised to see him in despair, collapsed on the ground. "Hey kid, what are you doing?" the guild leader shouted. "Please, don't cancel my contract." Yun pleaded desperately. "That's preposterous. What's wrong with you?" "But today, everyone can disperse for now." Yun Zich suddenly spoke up, interrupting the guild leader. "Aren't you forgetting something? What about the profit sharing?" "Ah, right about that. This week, that's important too. But, Ian, come on, cheer for me." Ian exclaimed joyfully. "We have to throw a party to celebrate her return, and to welcome this little guy to the group too. It's been almost 2 weeks. Yeah, a welcome party for the new recruit." "Sorry, I'm a bit busy today. You guys go ahead and enjoy yourselves," the guild leader said, waving goodbye. "Let's do it another day then. I wonder what's up with Sasian?" "Never mind. He's the breadwinner of his family after all." Sasian quietly boarded the train home. In his hands were a bouquet of vibrant flowers and some new books. Standing in front of the hospital gate, Sasian's face softened into a warm smile. Inside the hospital room, Sasian's son and wife were waiting for him. Seeing Sasian enter, his son exclaimed excitedly, "Dad, my dear son, how are you feeling today?" "I feel great, Dad. I finished all my food today." "Dad, that's my boy. Well done. Such good behavior deserves a reward, don't you think?" As he spoke, Sasian presented a newly purchased book with a rather peculiar title. Love Shouldn't Be Pursued in a Hunter's Tale, a work by the renowned contemporary fantasy novelist, Namagang. Holding the book in his hands, the boy looked utterly astonished. Is this a book by Namagang? Is it Love Shouldn't Be Pursued in a Hunter's Tale, the one I've always wanted? You really wanted this one, didn't you, son? Sasian asked affectionately. Overjoyed, a bright smile bloomed on the boy's face, usually gaunt from illness. "Thank you so much, Dad. You're the best. Sasian is the greatest." He turned to his wife, his voice full of pride. "And my love." Sasian presented a bouquet of vibrant flowers he had just bought. "This is for you." "Oh my, what a lovely surprise," his wife exclaimed. "Today's our anniversary, my dear. Did we both actually forget our special day?" The couple gazed at each other, touched. They leaned in, about to share a passionate kiss. Dad, is that really you?" The question was uttered with disbelief, the young boy's eyes reflecting a strange, vacant emptiness. A stream of crimson blood suddenly flowed from the boy's nose, staining the pages of the novel he held in his hands. Seoyul and his wife hadn't yet recovered from the horrifying sight when, 14 days later, Jiho had just survived a near-death experience. The boy lay listlessly in the hospital bed, his frail body relying on a ventilator. "Fortunately, the medicine is working well. You'll be fine. Don't worry too much, Mom." The mother held her son's hand tightly, sitting beside him, gently soothing and comforting him. But she couldn't hold back the tears of worry streaming down her cheeks. Behind the curtain, Soyul was talking to the doctor, his face etched with worry. "As you know, this is an extremely rare disease. It's related to the dimensional gate that Jiho came into contact with. The more he's exposed to magic, the more critical his condition will become. I understand your family's difficult situation, but in my opinion, Jiho needs surgery as soon as possible." Oyul hung his head, his voice trembling. I know. So, your family. Please be ready for the surgery at any time. Let me know as soon as everything is ready." "Yes, doctor." Sasian bowed his head respectfully, expressing deep gratitude. His hands clenched, his mind in turmoil. A thought tormented him. Should he borrow more money? If it wasn't enough, he'd have to work overtime, become a mercenary despite the danger. He had to get more money no matter the cost. Sasian gently pulled back the curtain. Seeing his wife weeping silently, he rushed to her side to comfort her. He tenderly wiped away the tears streaming down his beloved wife's cheeks. "Why are you crying again? Don't worry, everything will be all right. I'll take care of the money." His wife sobbed, choking back her words. "Honey," Sasian forced a smile, hoping to dispel her worries. "Don't you trust me? I'll handle everything. We'll have the money for the surgery soon." Jiho's weak voice suddenly called out, "Dad." Sasian and his wife frantically grasped their son's small hand. "Jiho, how are you feeling, Jiho?" "Son, are you feeling any better? You must have been so scared, but everything's okay now. The doctor gave you some medicine for the pain. Jiho struggled to speak, his voice broken by the ventilator. I'm sorry. I wish I didn't have this terrible illness. Why did I say those things? But if I wasn't sick like this, then Mom and Dad wouldn't have to struggle so much. Jiho's self-reproach was like 1,000 sharp knives, piercing Kwas's heart, causing him immense pain. Sol and his wife were suddenly silent, speechless. No, Jiho, you don't need to apologize. Why do you feel so guilty? His wife, head bowed, clutched Jiho's hand, and choked back tears. We're the ones who should be saying sorry. Even a hardened man like Sa-song couldn't contain his emotions. He covered his face with his hands, his voice trembling with tears. We will find a way to cure you, Jiho. No matter the cost, we will save you. We promise you with our lives. Outside, a long line of people patiently waited, signing up to join the mercenary ranks. Many had chosen this dangerous path, among them Sa-sian. He stood silently, lost in sorrowful memories of the past. I'm sorry. You currently have a lot of outstanding loans, so we can't lend you any more. Now, guess there's nothing left to do but join the mercenaries. The mercenary squad just finished off a low-level Tulang. One of them approaches Sa-seol, clapping him on the shoulder. Hey man, rough day huh? Yeah, pretty tiring, Sa-seol replies. You're working way too hard for someone who's not even part of the main team. Need cash that badly? The other man asks curiously. Need cash huh? Sa-seol frowns, curtly replying, so what if I do? Seriously? The other man asks, surprised. Well, sorry, Sa-seol stammers. He slowly reveals the amount, shocking the other man, 200 million won. You know, Sa-seol continues, a C-rank hunter only makes about that much. I know, the man replies. The man falls into deep thought. Hold on a sec. Suddenly, he pulls out his phone and dials someone. Hey, bro, about that job, a C rank is fine, right? Yeah. Got it. Something up? Good pay? Well, I'm not too sure, he tells Sa-seol. Sa-seol fidgets, anxious to learn more about the job. What is it? What kind of job? I don't care what it is. Currently, there's a B-rank mage guild, comprised of magic elites, desperately seeking a tank, a solid shield while they cast their spells. However, their target is a high-level B-rank gate, a place teeming with danger. For a C-rank hunter, taking on this mission is practically a suicide mission. Of course, if successful in conquering this challenge, the estimated reward will exceed 500 million won, a colossal sum. Since they only need one tank, the chosen one will receive a generous compensation of around 100 million won. Sa-sian was still reeling from what he just heard. He stammered, 100 million won. Really? The man gripped Sa-sian's hand, trying to reassure him after the shocking news. Man, I understand your difficult circumstances, but think this through carefully before deciding. You'll be facing ferocious, brutal monsters alone. A high-level B-rank gate is no joke. It can take your life at any moment. Sa-sian firmly replied, his voice unwavering. Introduce me to them. I'm determined to take this mission. I have to do this. Before Sa-sian, a hulking, muscular final boss appeared, towering over him. From behind, the mages chanted and cheered relentlessly. C-rank, you absolutely must hold the line. You have to withstand it no matter the cost, they yelled. If you fall, we all die, another voice cried out in desperation. Do you understand? Sa-sian roared, his voice hoarse with strain. Is that clear? The Starbreaker, in a furious rage, charged like a whirlwind, unleashing a relentless barrage of attacks. Sa-sian struggled to parry each sharp blow, sweat pouring down his face. Amidst the furious onslaught, his mind was besieged by worries about money and survival, anxieties he couldn't shake off. Why did the rent suddenly spike so much? He lamented internally. Rent, deposit, everything's skyrocketing. I can't keep worrying about your situation forever. His landlord's voice echoed in his head. I'm sorry, but if you can't pay next month's rent, she said sternly, you'll have to vacate the premises. Mr. Sa-sian, another voice chimed in. Next month. The guild office rent will increase by 200,000 won. Jiho's surgery needs to happen as soon as possible. Each wandering thought fueled him, giving Sa-sian renewed strength. Even if a raging storm were to descend upon me, do you think I would fall so easily? I am the unshakable pillar of this family. Tran-tin unleashed a decisive attack, a fatal blow, shattering Sa-sian's weapon into pieces, inflicting a grievous wound upon him. The mages behind surged forward without hesitation.
Spare no mana.
Unleash all your power. Attack with everything you've got. Before succumbing to the darkness of unconsciousness from the grave injury, the image of Jiho suddenly flashed in Sasian's mind. I'm sorry for being such a terrible father. Yun sighed, a look of dejection on her face. Grown up, huh? Looks like my facade of maturity is about to crumble. At the crack of dawn, the sharp ring of the phone pierced the silence. It was Solho calling. Yes, Solho, I'm just getting ready for work. What? 15 minutes later, at a luxurious hospital in Seoul, Sa-Sul lay in a hospital bed. Beside him, his wife sobbed uncontrollably, tears streaming down her face. Honey, so that's what happened. That Manhwa, because of the surgery costs for his critically ill son, he resorted to becoming a mercenary? Oh my God, that's right. Why did that old man keep this a secret? Why didn't he say something sooner? We're practically strangers, surely. Solho clutched his head in distress, reproaching Sasian. Yun scratched his head, hesitantly saying, well, if I could, I'd like to help Sasian somehow. How much money would it take to help him overcome this difficulty? Hearing this, Solho's face lit up. Really? That's great. You're the Thunder Emperor. However, as soon as he finished speaking, Solho fell into deep thought. I'm grateful for your kindness, but I'm afraid this is impossible. Yun asked in surprise. Huh? Why? If he really needed money, he would have asked you for help a long time ago. But the truth is, I had to practically beg him to accept you into the team. Because you're the Thunder Emperor. I was hoping his situation might improve. But he only sees you as a normal teammate, not the famous Thunder Emperor, just our youngest, Tihian. Iosik rushed in from outside, reporting, we've made contact with the B-Rank Guild. It seems Sa-Sian is working as a mercenary for them. Solho immediately replied, got it, I'm on my way. Yun sighed, murmuring, I don't know whether to call him righteous or stubborn, always chasing after lost causes. Solho patted Yun's shoulder reassuringly, saying, come on, if we let you get involved in this, he'll never forgive us. Let us handle this. Okay? Yun smiled understandingly. I understand. Then, instead of as the Thunder Emperor, let me help you as just Yun, your little brother. A shout rang out. The mages are still engaged in combat. Monsters are incoming. Everyone, prepare for battle. Another voice roared, hey you C-Ranks, get out here and tank for us. Solho and Ionic responded in unison, yes sir. A horde of skeletal monsters charged forward. Solho and Ionic bravely rushed forward, intercepting them. The mages behind them continued to grumble and complain. What's he even doing? Fight properly. We're being pushed back. We can't let them break through our lines. Roger. Damn it, there's one left. I'm sorry. We've reached the boss room. Let's take a breather and recover. Then we'll continue. Quickly re-equip and regroup. Understood? Solho and Ionic, after the fierce battle, were completely exhausted. My arms are killing me. Solho was lost in thought. Beads of sweat trickled down his face. This was only a B-Rank gate. Just small fry, and I'm already at my limit. Is Sa-Song supposed to face these monsters alone? Guild leader, I told you we should have hired more B-Rank tanks. Two mages approached, their faces etched with frustration. They're just regular monsters, and you can't even handle them? How are we supposed to beat the boss? Exactly. At this rate, we're all going to die. What are we going to do now? Hiring a B-Rank mercenary costs 300 million won. That's an enormous amount of money. This is no different from thugs demanding protection money. Besides, where would we even get that kind of money to hire one? Moreover, last time, even with just a C-Rank mercenary, we barely managed. Although he eventually fell, this time we're facing two of them. Could it be that we'll have to retreat in disgrace? I still feel anxious, uneasy for some reason. Hearing this, Solho fell into deep thought, those words echoing in his ears, leaving him troubled. Can we withstand their power? What will happen if both I and Aeon Shik are seriously injured? From afar, Yun quietly approached Solho. Aeon Sik and our youngest have arrived? Hey, Aeon, I'm so exhausted. I'm practically a dried-up corpse. Why the long face? What in the world did you do? What happened to you? Who's gutsy enough to mess with our youngest? Don't worry, everyone. Yun confidently raised his glass. Chin up, brothers. Let's go hunt that boss monster. Do you have faith in me? Trust me and follow my lead. A fierce battle erupted on the battlefield. The mages in the rear unleashed powerful spells, mercilessly obliterating each monster. What's going on? Where's the boss? Why are there only these weaklings? Did another hunting party get here first and steal our prey? Stop it. Don't do that. It's too dangerous. If the Hunters Association catches us, our hunting careers are over. Who would do something so stupid? More importantly, the guild leader. Let's call it a day. We have to retreat. What's happening? There are too many monsters. I've almost used up all my magic power. I don't understand why the boss hasn't appeared yet. We've almost wiped out all these monsters. Let's wait until our magic is fully restored before we continue pursuing that monster boss. In our current exhausted state, if we stubbornly keep fighting, we won't stand a chance of winning. Hearing this, the guild leader pondered for a moment, then uttered, I only have enough magic left for 1 or 2 more spells. To inflict significant damage on the boss with a spell, we'd have to paralyze him first. However, our 2 tank warriors, Ionic and Ho, still seem lucid enough to strategize. We'll be having beef bone soup tonight. This kid's lost it. The guild leader's contempt for these mediocre individuals grew. Stop with the wishful thinking. The guild leader sighed, then declared, we'll stop here for today. Everyone has worked very hard. Unfortunately, we'll have to postpone defeating the boss until next time. Yes, a wise decision, guild leader. I'm exhausted. Everyone's done well. Let's rest and recover. Just as everyone was about to leave, Yun suddenly spoke up, interrupting, where do you think you're all going? What? It's just beginning now? What do you mean? Wu Yen exclaimed in astonishment. Yun pointed towards the strange skull, where a deadly, dangerous blue light emanated. Suddenly, all the bones of the previously slain monsters fused together, forming a gigantic monster with a massive skeletal frame. A B+ rank bone boss. The guild leader, horrified, signaled everyone to retreat quickly. Boss monster! It's a boss monster! Someone screamed in terror. Damn it! Why did it appear now of all times? Wu Yen gritted his teeth. Everyone, prepare your spells. Full power, the guild leader commanded. We must finish it in 1 blow, a mage yelled. Fire arrow. A mage raised his staff, firing a blazing missile towards the bone boss. Lightning strike. Ice lance. A barrage of powerful attacks simultaneously targeted the colossal monster. However, the bone boss stood its ground, radiating immense killing intent, seemingly unaffected. Impossible! It's not even hurt, Yun gasped in horror. Our magic power, is this the end? A mage despaired. As the bone boss raised its massive weapon, preparing to attack the terrified mages, Yun signaled with a confident nod. Let's go! Sol Ho and Ion Zich immediately charged into battle. Their fierce attack left the observing mages wide-eyed in astonishment. What? A Sema rank? One mage stammered. Is overwhelming a Chung? Another finished, his voice full of disbelief. What's happening? Unbelievable! Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Yun watched silently, his gaze fixed on the unfolding battle. Unable to hide his pride, a smug smile spread across his lips. The scene unfolded too quickly, too unexpectedly, leaving the onlookers speechless and stunned. Impossible! A C rank. But Sol Ho is that strong? Sol Ho's relentless attacks forced the monster into a defensive position. Witnessing such extraordinary power, everyone exclaimed in astonishment. They're overwhelming the boss? What in the world is going on? The question hung heavy with bewilderment. Meanwhile, Yun remained motionless, observing the battle with a triumphant grin plastered on his face. And then, the decisive moment arrived. Sol Ho unleashed a critical blow, sending the monster flying. Seeing that the situation was under control, he smirked to himself, thinking, just as Yun said, recalling the moment that just transpired. As soon as Yun pulled out the tactical notebook, both of them were taken aback, stunned for a moment. Yun explained, confidently rubbing his nose, this is my strategy, based on the intel provided by the association. An S-rank monster. Truthfully, this is my first time facing a high-level monster like this, above A rank, so I had to study it thoroughly. Indeed, he launched straight into a lecture, explaining meticulously, this boss monster is a colossal skeleton. Due to its massive size, each of its attacks possesses terrifying power, destructive force. However, in return, it moves very slowly and heavily. Yun seriously emphasized, its critical weakness is its joints. We will focus our attacks on those areas. He then meticulously and diligently analyzed the tactics. Sungo and Ionix's strength lies in their extraordinary speed. This allows them to launch preemptive strikes before their opponents can react. Let me signal them both. Hearing this, Sungo froze for a moment, a look of disbelief mixed with astonishment on his face. Kid, could it be, you grasped all of this in just one night? He inquired, his eyes filled with surprise and admiration. Faced with the question, Yanhwa confidently scratched his head, a bright smile blooming on his face as he replied, I'm a writer after all, still a rookie in the field. But gathering and researching materials is a fundamental skill for any author. As he spoke, he couldn't hide his pride, smugly thinking to himself. Back to the present. Solho is now facing the ferocious monster head-on, his mind constantly calculating and analyzing. Thanks, kid. Next step. This monster has a habit of roaring before launching an attack. He suddenly recalled Yanhwa's words. So when dodging, he must move to the left or right. He must choose the most effective evasion method to distract it. Utilizing the devised strategy, Sol effortlessly maintained his safety, preserving his own well-being. And crucially, when initiating an attack, it was imperative to target the monster's joints. In a flash, a relentless barrage of attacks was unleashed, like a furious storm, all aimed directly at the colossal creature's critical weak points. Immediately, Ionic roared in fury, unleashing his ultimate technique, an attack called Super Invincible Thunder. The words had barely left his mouth when a terrifying slash hurtled forward, ripping through the air past the monster. A glimmer of hope flickered in that instant. If successful, the enemy would be incapacitated once more. Yun, standing beside him, yelled, Solho attack! In the blink of an eye, Solho shot forward, swift as lightning, delivering a critical blow. Yun's eyes widened, his voice resolute as he commanded. Focus all your power, attack its core. Finish him. Solho's target was immediately identified. He aimed precisely at its critical weakness, the monster's core. He focused all his energy, concentrating on the beast's core, and unleashed an earth-shattering X-slash with a deafening roar. In a flash, Sol charged forward, unleashing a devastating attack. But the monstrous recoil from the blow was beyond imagination. Sungo gritted his teeth, trying to endure, but the force was too great. He couldn't withstand it and was thrown back. Panicked, he struggled to regain his balance in midair. Witnessing this, Eoxic beside him was utterly horrified. Yun's face paled, her eyes wide with disbelief, unable to comprehend what she was seeing. The attack was repelled, she gasped in terror. Looking at the colossal monster before him, he suddenly understood. Ah, so that's how it is. With a single blow, the monstrous Tagila easily sent both Ionic and Sungo flying dozens of meters. They both crashed to the ground, as Yun watched in utter terror. Tactics are merely a means of support, he thought to himself. If the foundation of strength is insufficient, all strategies are useless against absolute power. In the blink of an eye, the sheer speed of the event overwhelmed the surrounding mages. Everyone screamed in terror, sheer panic gripping them. We're doomed. With a C rank. How can we possibly defeat this monster? Facing the imminent danger, Yun immediately focused his energy, preparing to launch an attack. Looks like I have to step in. But just before he could act, Solho suddenly shouted Eoxic's name. This action startled Yun, momentarily stunning him. With the situation hanging by a thread, Solho yelled out, Remember the tactic we used to use? Let's modify it a bit. Solho's words immediately caught Yun's attention. His eyes widened in surprise, thinking to himself, a tactic? Could it be plan number 7? Memories of their good old days together flooded his mind. That same tired old tactic again? Are we really doing this again? Without hesitation, without a moment's doubt, Solho spoke up once more, her voice filled with determination and strength. Seo Sol may not be here anymore, but I will do my best to take his place. Her words were firm and unwavering. Ionic immediately obeyed without a word of protest. Understood. I'll lure it in like last time. Ionic quickly raised his voice, launching into an exaggerated provocation. Hey, you bony-headed skullface. Immediately, he showed that same loathsome face and signature foul finger. Choi's secret technique, the foul finger. Ionic continued his taunts, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Get over here. I'm gonna crack your skull open. How can you get here when you don't even have eyes, you blind fool? This seemed pointless, but it proved surprisingly effective. The monster was instantly enraged. The monsters immediately panicked, frantically chasing after the ion chain. This made him laugh triumphantly. Your turn, he exclaimed. At his provocation, Song-ho didn't hesitate, immediately using his chain to ensnare the monster's leg. The monster thrashed wildly, its strength exploding. But Song-ho remained firm, using all his might to drag the monster. Seizing the opportunity, Ionic charged forward with incredible speed. And finally, he declared confidently, his voice full of certainty. The finishing blow belongs to Sasian. A smug grin spread across his face as he finished speaking. Immediately, Sung-ho responded with an excited grin, leaping into the air. Exactly, he shouted back. Without hesitation, he boldly declared, with Sasian's power, a single whiplash is enough to destroy its core, but let's attack together. His words were final. Ionic immediately got into position, ready to strike. In a flash, he charged forward valiantly, coordinating flawlessly with Sol-ho in a relentless series of attacks. The mighty super invincible Thunderclap X attack was unleashed, tearing through the air. The words were barely spoken when a devastating combined attack from both warriors crashed down upon the monster. In the next instant, the monster's core, its critical weak point, was targeted. In a blink of an eye, cracks spiderwebbed across the energy core's surface. The monster roared in agony, its howls echoing through the space. In a fleeting moment, the monster's radiant energy core shattered into hundreds of fragments. The colossal monster was utterly annihilated. Witnessing the awe-inspiring spectacle, those around them were stunned into silence. They erupted in joyous celebration, tears streaming down their faces, choked sobs filling the air. The boss monster is disappearing. We're alive. We won. We can go home. They spoke with beaming smiles, joy radiating from their faces. Meanwhile, standing off to the side, Yun watched everything with astonishment and undisguised admiration. Amazing, he marveled to himself, a flawless strategy, exceeding even my expectations. Even when faced with the abyss of despair, he remained unwavering, refusing to surrender. Instead, he relied on his own strength and intellect, devising a completely new strategy. After a moment of deep thought, a spark ignited in his eyes. His gaze filled with hope, like the dawn breaking through the darkness of night. Witnessing this, Yun couldn't help but smile. Her smile held a sense of pride, recognizing his remarkable growth. Without hesitation, he eagerly rushed forward, swift as the wind. He hurried towards Sol-ho and Ion-sik, his close comrades. The next morning, at the city's central hospital, Sasian repeatedly called out his son's name in his delirium. Amidst the hazy dreams of sleep, Jae-ho appeared in his mind. Sasian's body trembled uncontrollably as he blamed himself in agony. I'm sorry, son, because I'm so useless. The words caught in his throat. Sasian succumbed to utter helplessness. Suddenly, he jolted awake. Opening his eyes, the unfamiliar surroundings left him disoriented. Panicked, Sasian sat up, a question rising in his heart. Where am I? But just then, memories flooded back into his mind. Oh right, Min-vi went to find money for Jae-ho's surgery. Has she failed 7 times already? A heavy worry weighed on his mind. Sasian, consumed by despair, hung his head in defeat. Clutching the blanket tightly, he berated himself for his uselessness and incompetence. What could he do to overcome this situation? But just then, the curtains were suddenly drawn open. Ion-sik and the others abruptly entered the room. Their faces beaming, they joyfully exclaimed, "You're awake." Yahello quickly approached, standing beside the bed. He spoke, his tone laced with a hint of reproach. Look, what kind of guild leader lets himself get into this state? Do you know how worried we were about you? Faced with these caring rebukes, Sasian could only lower his head in shame and apologize. Seeing this, the others quickly intervened. Ion-sik smiled, taking the initiative to comfort him. Just focus on resting now. Yahello chimed in, his tone cheerful. While you were unconscious, we took care of everything, so you don't need to worry about Jae-ho's surgery expenses anymore. Hearing this, Sasian was astonished. Sasian's eyes widened in stunned disbelief. He stammered, What are you all saying? Looking at the thick stack of checks in front of him, Sasian was suddenly terrified, his whole body trembling. This money, is this all the money that everyone earned from the mercenary mission? Without a moment's hesitation, the others all grinned gleefully, their faces filled with smug satisfaction. Sung-ho quickly seized the opportunity, immediately speaking up. Yes, this is all the money from the mercenary mission plus what we just earned. It's enough to pay for Jae-ho's surgery. However, despite the firm assurance, Sasian hesitated, uncertainty clouding his features. I can't accept this. He adamantly refused. Sasian's words hung heavy in the air, silencing everyone. Immediately, the incident caught everyone's attention. Ionic, overhearing this, objected sharply. Sol-ho, momentarily stunned, asked with a bewildered expression, What do you mean? Are you crazy? Have you lost your mind? Don't you care about Jiho? Don't you love her? Faced with these agitated questions, Sasian was suddenly overcome with emotion, his voice choked with tears. It's not that I don't need the money, it's not that I want to live in poverty, but I can't simply accept this money. This is money that everyone paid for with their lives. I will definitely repay it one day, Sasian asserted firmly. He clutched the money tightly in his hand, his eyes filled with an indescribable sorrow. Witnessing this scene, Yeltsin felt awkward and spoke up, Come on, man, repay what? Don't do this. We know everything about your situation. We understand your circumstances. Sasian replied, Yeah. He sank into a stream of memories, painfully recalling the past. My story. It's all my fault. With that, Sasian fell silent. Rewinding to a long time ago, a group of people were gathered, puffing on cigarettes, their mouths chattering non-stop. They sighed deeply, complaining endlessly. Absolutely intoxicating. One of them, looking fed up, scratched his head. Well, it can't be helped. One person has to run 3-4 gate trips a day. Hearing this, the other person could only sigh in defeat. What can we do? Jiho is seriously ill. Suddenly, one of them collapsed, groaning in exhaustion. At this rate, not just Jiho, but all of us will get sick. Suddenly, a voice called out from afar, I agree with you. They were startled to see Vice President Richard Bear, looking disheveled and exhausted, standing there. Jack tilted his head in frustration. Think carefully. When will you all stop? Stop cleaning up the chairman's messes? If this continues, this guild can forget about getting promoted to rank B. He continued to spew harsh words. Everyone is pushing themselves too hard to please the chairman, leaving everyone exhausted, injured, and eventually hospitalized. He then suddenly flashed a knowing smile. Richard Bear immediately responded with a firm resolve. I've decided to establish an entirely new guild. Meanwhile, Sasian, standing at a distance, overheard the entire conversation. Rage surged within him, his body trembling uncontrollably. Sasian was jolted back to the harsh reality. Sasian, his brows furrowed in frustration, exclaimed bitterly, All of this is because of you, he declared in anguish. Our dreams, our unfulfilled ambitions, and that photograph too, remain etched in my memory, never fading. Sasian's voice choked with emotion. The pain of not being able to protect my family torments me, haunts me every time I think about it, Sasian confessed, his heart aching as if squeezed in a vice. It's all my fault, for burdening everyone with my problems. He blamed himself. Therefore, your matters, you must resolve them yourself. Sasian spoke with unwavering determination. His words hanging in the air, he lowered his voice, as if trying to suppress his emotions. But suddenly, Sol-ho rushed in from afar, interrupting him. No, this is all because of that damn Richard, Sol-ho roared with indignation. Yansik, witnessing the scene, immediately voiced his agreement. That's right. Why blame him? Looking at the scene before him, Aeon could no longer contain himself and spoke up. With a serious and resolute tone, he firmly declared, I will continue to support him. Hearing this, Sasian Gilas looked skeptical, his face etched with doubt. He quickly asked, What do you mean? Without hesitation, Yun firmly replied, her voice filled with certainty. Actually, I just received feedback from my readers, she began to explain. They think the main character in my story isn't mature enough. At first, I didn't quite understand what they meant, Yun admitted. From my perspective, the main character has been leveling up consistently, his power constantly increasing. He's also learned many new skills, becoming stronger and stronger. But thanks to their comments, I've realized something important, she said. Maturity isn't simply... Suddenly, Yun's voice became resolute and powerful, about gaining strength or learning new skills. Yun emphatically stressed, each word etching itself into the listeners' minds. You didn't walk through these gates just to level up like the main character in my story, but to protect what's precious, the loved ones by your side. For a noble cause, to support the guild leader, she continued. It's that unwavering will that allows you to display extraordinary courage, transcending the limits of rank and power. Finishing her words, Yun fell into deep thought, a hint of sadness in her eyes. Come to think of it, ever since I joined this guild, I've decided The protagonist of my story, of my life's work, is Man Sir Yeo Wa. If not here at this very moment, then where else could I find such a valuable coming-of-age experience? The young man suddenly hardened his resolve, his heart set on the path ahead. Therefore, I will continue to support everyone, standing together side by side, for the growth, for the bright future of the protagonist of my story Man Sir Yeo Wa, for a brighter tomorrow. And most importantly, for our guild, for our sacred bond of friendship. Touched by these sincere words, Sasian's eyes widened, filled with gratitude and emotion. An indescribable feeling welled up within him, and he silently thought to himself, so, this isn't just my journey alone, but a journey of shared support and camaraderie between fellow travelers. I've been so foolish to be afraid of getting hurt, burying myself in my own private emotions. At this thought, Zilit Sasian's brows furrowed, filled with pain and regret. Sasian fell silent, lost in thought. It took him a long moment before he stammered, haltingly saying, "All right, enough. Well then, from now on, can I trouble everyone for a bit?" As soon as he finished speaking, Sasian helplessly furrowed his brow, his eyes filled with worry as he looked towards the surrounding crowd. Immediately, everyone responded in unison, their voices overflowing with emotion. "Please, don't hesitate." In the blink of an eye, Sasian burst into tears, tears streaming down his face. "Old man like me still." Seeing this, Yun proactively approached from afar, offering words of comfort. "So now, I can wholeheartedly help everyone, right?" As Yun spoke, a cryptic, unreadable smile spread across his face. At these words, goosebumps erupted across Sasian's skin, and an inexplicable feeling of unease welled up within him. "What are you doing that makes you look so scary?" Moments later, the scene shifted to the desolate outskirts of the city, where smoke and fire filled the air, leaving behind a scene of utter devastation. The surrounding crowd was desperately fighting back against the ferocious monsters. From afar, Old Man Gawatsu appeared unexpectedly, his voice filled with authority and determination. "Hold the formation. Force them into a corner. Give them no escape." Immediately, everyone responded in unison. "Yes, sir." But in the next instant, with a single flick of its wrist, the monster effortlessly wiped out the entire group. Witnessing this, Gawatsu immediately frowned, his face etched with worry. Seizing the opportunity, the ferocious monster unleashed a gigantic fireball, incinerating everything in its path. At the critical moment, Hongcha appeared, using his body to block the fatal attack. "Don't be reckless." Without hesitation, the monster continued its relentless assault, spewing a torrent of raging flames. Gongcha, worried, quickly asked with an anxious voice, "Are you all right?" To the concerned question, Gawatsu nodded slightly, yes. Looking at the chaotic scene before him, he pondered deeply, his heart filled with anxiety. "I dispatched both Squad 1 and Squad 2, our most elite warriors, and yet they were repelled? Monsters, truly monstrous power." He suddenly looked at the monster, his eyes filled with terror. The boss monster, Diabo S-rank danger. Gawatsu suddenly turned serious, lowering his voice. "Please take care of everyone in the guild." Hyojun didn't hesitate, immediately replying with determination, "Leave this area to me." His word was as good as gold. Gawatsu immediately charged into the attack. "This time, I might have to risk my life," he thought to himself. Moments later, the monster unleashed another ferocious attack. Suddenly, from afar, a powerful lightning bolt shot out, making it widen its eyes in surprise. The monster was startled, quickly looking in the direction of the lightning. In the midst of the dark night, Yun suddenly appeared with a brilliant aura. He swiftly unleashed his deadly technique, Thunderclap. A massive surge of energy instantly struck, completely obliterating the monster in a flash. Gawatsu was stunned by the terrifying power that had just been unleashed. He gloated, a triumphant smile spreading across his lips. "After a long life witnessing countless events, I've finally seen this. I never thought I'd be so moved," he exclaimed with deep emotion. "My grandson can be a bit standoffish at times." "I knew it," he said, glancing at Yun with a joyful, delighted expression. Gawatsu, feeling smug, seized the opportunity to inquire, "You came here to rescue me, didn't you, Thunder Emperor?" But faced with this loaded question, Yun bluntly replied with a cold rejection, "Not at all. I'm just here to ask you a small favor." Hearing this, Gawatsu was exasperated, and began to complain. "Can't you even put in a good word for me? You ungrateful brat." Meanwhile, the scene shifted to a bustling airport, where a crowd was cheering, chanting someone's name. Responding to the enthusiastic welcome, Kaguya gradually approached from afar, waving as he walked. He gently removed his glasses and confessed, "It's been a long time since I've returned to Korea. I wonder how that guy is doing now?" As he finished speaking, a bright smile suddenly bloomed on Kaguya's face, and this mysterious man is none other than one of the legendary 12 apostles wielding earth-shattering power. Martial god Sato Kaguya formally welcomed the distinguished guest before him. Taken aback by Kaguya's sudden appearance, Daehan exclaimed, "You startled me. What brings you here so unexpectedly?" "I apologize for the surprise, Daehan," Kaguya replied warmly. Kaguya offered a polite smile, yet it held an air of mystery. "Forgive my intrusion." He gently placed his teacup on the table and presented an important document. Kaguya explained his presence. "Our chairman has an urgent matter to discuss. Please review this." The document was respectfully handed to Daehan. As he took it, Daehan wondered, what could be so important that the chairman of the Japanese Association would send one of the 12 apostles to deliver it? Skimming the document, Daehan's face was etched with horror. "Disney and Jenna, are they dead?" Without hesitation, Kaguya's expression turned grave as he confirmed the grim truth. "Indeed, 2 members of the 13 heavenly stars have been eliminated." Daehan was stunned into silence by this shocking revelation.
Impossible.
He clutched his head, his face a mask of anguish and disbelief. The 13 heavenly stars, besides the 12 apostles, are also the 13 highest-ranking hunters in the world. They are the closest to legendary status, individuals bordering on mythical power. They are, without exaggeration, the strongest individuals in the world, truly living up to their reputation. Snapping out of his stupor, Daehan urgently demanded answers. Who could have possibly defeated 2 of them? Without hesitation, Kaguya uttered a name that sent shivers down Daehan's spine. Black Ball. His voice was filled with certainty. "I believe the chairman is also aware of the current situation. Not just the societal unrest, the economic turmoil, but also the civil wars erupting between nations. He is the mastermind behind all the recent global instability. Who else could it be?" Faced with this loaded question, he couldn't hide his apprehension, quickly answering, "All of this was caused by them." Daehan, with a tense and serious expression, nodded. "They believe that only those with esper abilities are true humans, worthy of existence, while ordinary people without awakened abilities are merely inferior beings, deserving of domination. A brutal extremist force known as Black Sphere. Governments worldwide have listed them as a dangerous terrorist organization. They harbor extremist and dangerous ideologies and are under strict surveillance." Hearing this, Kaguya abruptly stood up, his face filled with empathy. "Indeed, until now, we've only been monitoring and wary of them. But after this incident, everything is clear. They're not just a simple terrorist organization. Therefore, the chairman wishes to extend an offer to you." As he spoke, he proactively extended his hand, expressing goodwill for cooperation. "Regarding the need for close cooperation between our 2 nations on this matter, we hope you will consider and not hesitate to agree." Immediately, a bright, friendly smile quickly bloomed on Kaguya's face.
Daehan quickly replied,
He firmly stated, "Of course." His voice was filled with determination and strength. "We are absolutely willing to cooperate." With that confirmation, Kaguya politely added, "My sincere thanks. Details regarding this matter and our alliance can be found in the prepared documents." Kaguya spoke frankly, "Honestly, our chairman seems overly worried." Hearing that, Daehan was startled, a shock running through him, and let out a gasp of surprise. Kaguya remained calm, casually stretching before continuing, "I just need to clean things up, and everything will be resolved." "Why should he be so worried?" Kaguya retorted, "Isn't ignorance bliss?" He chuckled, then probed Daehan. Faced with Kaguya's question, Daehan suddenly felt a pang of unease. He thought to himself, "Clean things up," said so casually? As soon as the conversation ended, Kaguya couldn't hide her inner delight. "All right, time to go see that kid," she thought to herself. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Sa Xian's family was hosting a lavish party, filled with joy and laughter. Amidst the lively atmosphere, Ionic enthusiastically raised his voice. "All right everyone, is everyone ready? Let's fill our glasses." Without hesitation, he confidently continued, "First, Congratulations on completing your training and returning safely. Next, let's celebrate our youngest member officially joining us. Hearing his name mentioned, An immediately beamed a bright smile. Aeon smiled radiantly and said in a loud voice, "And of course, to Sa-Sian and Jaiho, may you both always be safe and sound. Let the feast begin." As soon as he finished speaking, everyone who heard him raised their glasses and joyfully toasted in celebration amidst the bustling atmosphere. Aeon Zich ate heartily, his mouth full, yet he continued to hum in satisfaction. "Amazing! This is incredible!" The sight of Aeon Zich enjoying his meal made little Jiho stare longingly. "I want to eat that too, Mom." However, Jiho's mother looked apologetic, gently telling him, "Try this first, Jiho." The interaction between Jiho and his mother caught the attention of Solho, causing him to frown in annoyance. And just then, a piece of food flew and landed on Solho's face. He immediately scowled, his face flushed with anger. Solho abruptly stood up, pointing at Aeon Zich and yelling, "Hey you! Have some table manners. Can't you eat like a normal person?" Immediately, the two men lunged at each other, starting a brawl. Despite being in the middle of a meal, the fight continued. Solho's family could only sigh helplessly at the scene. They looked at each other and laughed at the comical situation. Back in the present, the crowd of diners continued to enjoy their meal. They kept exclaiming, "I'm so full, I can't eat anymore." But Sungho Ionic suddenly interrupted, "I told you, what more do you want? There's still ice cream." This was the last straw, sending him into a roaring rage. "You're still not full." But instead of being intimidated, Ionic zoomed off excitedly. "Even if I'm full, there's always room for dessert. I'm going to get ice cream." At this point, Solho could only give in. "I'll go too, need to walk off all this food." Catching everyone's drift, Jiho's mother spoke up. "Let me give Jiho his medicine, then we'll join you." Her words caused little Jiho's face to fall. "I hate taking medicine." Faced with her son's protest, Sase could only chuckle awkwardly. Yeah, go on. Hurry up." In no time, he and Yun quickly cleared all 8 plates, stacking them neatly. "Let me take out the trash." The unexpected offer made the young man hesitate. "Oh yes," he chattered incessantly. "To be honest, I was quite astonished by what you said yesterday." Yun, puzzled, asked, "What do you mean?" Without missing a beat, he reminisced and began recounting the authoritative words of old Gawatsu. "I heard it from my nephew, and I must say it was truly admirable. I can't believe Master Gawatsu is actually your grandfather." Yun immediately refuted. "He's not my grandfather." "But he called you grandson," Sa-Sian insisted. Hearing that, Yun could only reply indifferently, "He just calls me that, but we're not blood related." Then, Sa-Sian continued gently, "But I was surprised by something else too. The fact that he suddenly came here. Please upgrade Mai and Jiho's room to a VIP suite. Not only cover all remaining medical expenses, but also reimburse us for everything we've paid so far." This generous offer left the entire Sa family stunned, their astonishment evident. Sa-Sian reminisced about his earlier promise, even generously offering us a house. But he quickly returned to reality, addressing Yun, or rather Yun, "You said your way of repaying us was to help everything in harmony grow stronger and bigger, didn't you?" He finished his sentence with a bright, determined smile. "After Jiho's surgery is complete, we'll start recruiting new members for the guild. This time, let's do it seriously and systematically." Without hesitation, Yun eagerly nodded in agreement. "Yes, I'll give it my all." As he spoke, he gathered his belongings, pondering the recruitment of new partners. What interesting stories awaited him this time. Suddenly, a strange spiritual power coursed through Yun's hand. He quickly sensed an unusual disturbance, an inexplicable shift in the atmosphere. In a flash, Yun instinctively spun around, as if pulled by an invisible force. This sudden movement left Sa-Sian bewildered and confused. "What's wrong?" Sa-Sian asked urgently. Yun responded immediately, "I have to go. Something came up. I'll be right back." With that, Yun swiftly departed, leaving Sa-Sian behind. Sa-Sian stood there, filled with bewilderment and worry. "Wait, kiddo," she called out in vain. The scene quickly shifted to a nearby dark and ominous forest. Yun muttered to himself, his voice as soft as the breeze. "A concealed presence? Someone is hiding here." But just now, before he could finish his thought, a surprise attack came from afar. Yun instantly whirled around, his eyes sharp as blades. The killing intent radiating from him made his opponent falter. With lightning speed, he unleashed a powerful, devastating kick. The masked figure was sent flying, his body crashing heavily to the ground. But he quickly sprang back up and reappeared right behind Yun. A cataclysmic explosion suddenly erupted, obliterating everything in the blink of an eye. Yun narrowly intercepted the fatal blow, her delicate brows furrowing slightly. That subtle frown seemed to convey a hidden message. Immediately, their opponent withdrew their hand, as if realizing something crucial. "Your skills are as sharp as ever. I thought they might have dulled with time." It turned out the attacker was none other than Kazuya, a familiar face they hadn't seen in a long time. Kazuya suddenly flashed a bright smile, greeting his old friend. "How have you been?" That night, under the pale moonlight, Kazuya and Yun sat on an ancient tree trunk, sharing stories and catching up. Kazuya began, his voice low. "So, to write a truly authentic and vivid novel, you decided to return to this world to seek material and inspiration?" Yun replied, a hint of resignation in their tone. "Yes. How many times have I had to explain this?" Kazuya, hearing this, continued with a knowing look. "A hero of humanity vanishes and then suddenly reappears. How could I not be concerned?" The blonde-haired man thoughtfully stroked his chin, his gaze distant as he continued. "Honestly, I'm incredibly surprised." The bespectacled man asked, "Surprised about what?" Immediately, Kazuya reminisced, "Before, I thought you'd give up quickly." "You were always complaining and whining," Kazuya added. At that moment, Yun, with his golden hair, scratched his head, responding to the man in the suit. "It's such a hassle. In my memories, you always lacked willpower, full of laziness and apathy." Yun, still scratching his head, explained, "Well, a lot of things happen." Then he leaned back, looking up at the sky, and said thoi meili, "But it's fun. I want to write even better." Looking at his bespectacled friend beside him, Kazuya thought to himself, "Looks like someone's changed, huh?" The next moment, Kazuya stood up and said, "Well then, focus on your writing. Don't give up halfway." Yun, seeing his friend suddenly stand up, asked, "Are you leaving already?" Kazuya replied as he walked away, "I just happened to be in the neighborhood today, so I thought I'd drop by for a visit." Suddenly, he spun around, a cryptic smile spreading across his face as he uttered these puzzling words. "Even if you are the esteemed Thunder Emperor, we will meet again." His strange behavior left Yun with a huge question mark hanging over his mind. Elsewhere, Daehan stood silently before a window, lost in deep thought. A somber expression was reflected in the glass, hinting at a heavy heart. A single glance was enough to tell that he was grappling with something unpleasant. After all, 23 star destroyers have fallen. So now, who has the power to stop the Black Orb's rampage? Is there only a sliver of hope left, resting on the shoulders of the 12 apostles? He wondered anxiously. But the most pressing issue now was the memory of his conversation with Yun suddenly flooded back. With an utterly dejected expression, he had said, "The Black Orb sounds like a real pain. But if Kazuya is there, she should be able to handle it. Right, this month's quota is fulfilled. Guess I'll worry about it next month." Recalling the events, a vague unease crept into his mind. Would Thunder Emperor agree to lend a hand? And the worst-case scenario arose. What if he refused? Suddenly, Yun's image flashed in his mind. "I've completed the research, and perhaps I'll retire once more." Just the thought of those words was enough to understand the agonizing headache tormenting him. He clutched his head, consumed by worry and lost in thought. That could totally happen. That madman. The next moment, in utter despair, he collapsed to his knees, screaming, "No, please don't retire. Please, don't say that. Yun, you're out there." Secretary Yu, standing outside, witnessed everything. He just stood there, speechless, afraid to enter. Only after his boss regained his composure did Secretary Yu dare to enter the room. "Sir, are you all right?" Hearing the question, he could only feign a cough. And then, he tried to find a plausible excuse, as admitting the truth at this moment was too embarrassing. "I was just warming up my voice." "So, is there any important news to report today?" Secretary Wu immediately presented him with a document and said, "The Hunter Association has just officially announced the ranking of the most promising rookies, and a hunter from our South Korea has the honor of achieving the top position." Mr. David took the file and carefully examined. "Demon's Sword." Secretary Wu replied, "Yes, sir." "You know him already, sir?" Still engrossed in the document, he replied, "Of course. Among the rookies I know, he's the most exceptional. Demon Sword Cha Songjin, the most renowned hunter in South Korea recently. A rare genius, reaching rank 5 with lightning speed after awakening his abilities, and the one who formed a contract with Dark Moon, one of the 7 legendary divine weapons. It's praised as the ultimate weapon, the most powerful since the era of the Great Gate's opening. Finishing his words, he smirked, thinking, as far as I know, throughout history, among those who possessed Dark Moon, only 2 have ever reached the legendary rank. If that cursed sword truly reaches the legendary realm, the thought alone sent shivers of excitement down his spine, a manic grin spreading across his face. Unable to contain his glee, he burst into a fit of laughter. Ha ha ha! Our glorious South Korea will soon have 2 legendary rank hunters. That means Korea will become the ruler of all. The entire world will kneel before our might, and I will become the most powerful Hunters Association chairman. I can already picture that Indian Association chairman, that arrogant bastard, trembling in fear before my authority. And what's more, we'll no longer have to rely on that insufferable lightning emperor. I won't have to cater to his unpredictable whims and volatile temper anymore. Watching her boss descend into what appeared to be madness, the beautiful secretary couldn't help but shudder, a chill running down her spine. This crazy old man, always babbling about retirement, but finally, lost in his own twisted fantasy. Yun suddenly materialized behind him, his voice cold as he asked, "Finally what?" Startled, the chairman whipped around. Yun offered a cryptic smile, his eyes sharp as blades as he slowly uttered, "Go on, I'm listening intently." Mr. Park hastily clarified, explaining himself, "That's not what I meant at all." But Yun still seemed sulky, replying indifferently, Yeah, I understand." Surprised by Yun's appearance, Mr. Park asked, "Hey, what are you doing here? You're way behind on your training hours. I heard that when you reach S rank, there's registration and some procedures. So you should at least stop by the association." Below the building, a mysterious figure stood silently. He seemed to be secretly observing their every move. He thought to himself, reached S rank already? That kid's developing quickly. But don't forget, to become a true warrior worthy of me, you need to be much stronger than you are now. When you can unlock and wield my full power, no one will be able to defeat you, and then you can take the revenge you so desperately crave. Meanwhile, Yun was still sulking and walking away. Despite Mr. Park's desperate pleas and entreaties, I still blurted out my criticism. It was just a momentary lapse of reason due to old age. So, he replied indifferently, you can say whatever you want. The 2 of them passed by the mysterious person, completely oblivious to his presence. Suddenly, the sword on his back began to vibrate violently. It seemed to possess an independent and enigmatic operating mechanism. The sword pointed towards the 2 who had just passed, then exclaimed in astonishment, "Unbelievable! How can such a person exist?" Solgu curiously asked, "What's wrong? Is something strange?" The sword replied with a worried tone, "The guy who just walked past us, he's a monster. An extremely dangerous monster, absolutely not to be trifled with." He then turned a wary and cautious gaze towards Aeon, and replied, "That guy, but I don't sense anything unusual about him." Mr. Park was still focused on Aeon. He knelt down, clasped his hands, and pleaded earnestly, "Please believe me just this once. Honestly, I sincerely thank you." Solgu continued, but his voice was laced with doubt. "The Dark Moon has never spoken like this. If he truly were a monster, surely there would have been some forewarning?" Suddenly, the sword in Solgu's hand cried out in warning. "Wait, could you be about to do something foolish? Will this truly aid your growth?" Lost in thought, Solgu stepped closer to Yun, a palpable killing intent radiating from him. He gripped the hilt of his sword, a manic glint in his eyes. His action startled the sword, prompting it to intervene. "Hey, calm down. Don't do anything reckless. I have a bad feeling about this. But no matter how much I advise against it, that stubborn Seongu won't listen." Suddenly, Solgu pointed his sword directly at the back of Yun's neck, his voice dripping with challenge. "Greetings." He stared intensely at Yun, his gaze burning. "I want to challenge you. Let us have a duel, shall we?" The unexpected challenge forced Yun to turn around, confusion and surprise evident on his face. A stranger with a sword pointed at his neck. He wants to spar with me? Yun thought to himself, still in shock. He turned, his gaze fixed on the sword's eerie, glowing red blade. Yun casually extended a hand, pushing the sword aside. He looked at the man behind him, his voice cold. I don't like this. The swordsman, witnessing this, was stunned. He easily repelled Dark Moon? A smirk spread across his lips, his eyes gleaming with intense excitement. A normal person, even with the slightest touch of Dark Moon, would instantly faint from its terrifying magic. It seems he truly possesses something special. He spoke, breaking the silence. I know this is abrupt, but I truly desire. Before he could finish, Yun interrupted, his face filled with disgust and contempt. I said I don't like this. Who are you? Why suddenly appear and challenge me? The man chuckled, thinking to himself, oh ho, is he mocking me, claiming I'm weaker than him? He removed his hood, his voice apologetic. My apologies, perhaps I was too hasty. A sly grin bloomed on his lips. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Cha Xianggu, the demon sword. I'm sure you've heard of me. But Yun didn't seem the least bit surprised, his expression remaining indifferent. I don't care if you're the demon sword or the demon king. I'm very busy. You'll have to excuse me. Hearing these words, Xianggu froze, stunned into silence. Daehan finally came to his senses, exclaiming in astonishment. Now that I look closely, it really is the demon sword. Why would the demon sword want to spar with the Thunder Emperor? Ah, I see. Typically, for a hunter to ascend to the next rank, they need to overcome a crucial turning point. Meanwhile, Xianggu was still trying to persuade Yun. Please, just hear me out. Of course, everyone has their own method, but usually, battling a stronger opponent is the path to breakthrough. Just one spar isn't enough for me to, but Yun simply waved him off, refusing to listen further. I've heard enough. I decline. He gave a smug smile. If only his opponent was the demon sword, then even this small bit of experience also possesses exceptional growth potential and adheres strictly to the established plan. Suddenly, DHA places a hand on Yun's shoulder, signaling him to stop. He flashes a knowing smile and asks, it seems you still have unfinished business today, don't you? Yun turns around, a look of annoyance on his face. So what? That's precisely why I came to the association today. Are you planning to use my previous actions as an excuse to shirk your responsibilities? DHA's words startle Yun, causing him to step back. He exclaims, I admit my behavior was inappropriate, DHA says. Therefore, my request is simple. Yun sighs, resignedly accepting. I understand. What do you want? DHA points towards Solgu. I want you to fight this person. The scene shifts to the arena, where Daehan announces, welcome to our association's most advanced combat arena. To prevent aftershocks from escaping, this area is protected by dozens of layers of robust barriers. He placed his hand on the glass, a confident smile spreading across his face. Even if it's S rank, or even a power far beyond that, nothing can destroy this place. So, you can all fight without worry, give it your all. Seolgu glanced at him, murmuring, I don't know why, but he looks familiar. That's the association president. He watched Yun scratching his head and sighing. I don't want to fight. Daehan encouraged him. Just this once? Come on. Seolgu thought to himself. Even someone like that has to flatter him? Just who is this kid? Daehan stood outside, observing and shouted, take your positions. Get ready to begin. Seolgu advanced aggressively, his sword gleaming brightly. While Seolgu displayed absolute seriousness, Yun was yawning languidly. We'll see. Daehan's voice boomed. Ready, begin. As soon as he finished speaking, Seolgu lunged forward with lightning speed. He swung his sword in a deadly horizontal slash. Yun simply tilted his body slightly to easily evade the attack. As fast as lightning, leaving only a faint afterimage. What kind of person is this? He's only fit to be a punching bag for my training. Seolgu was visibly surprised, because he had dodged one of his attacks. He swung his sword horizontally again, the blade ripping through the air. He leaned back slightly, evading the sharp blade. Seolgu, feeling victory within his grasp, confidently declared, I've got you. He glanced back, and easily dodged the attack. Why would Dark Moon use his full strength from the very beginning? He spun around, charging forward with terrifying speed. I told you, he's a monster. The pommel of his sword began to glow a bright red, like blood. The synchronization process began. He slashed furiously, each strike carrying tremendous power. But Yun only needed to take a step back to avoid the fatal blow. 12%, 34%, Xiangu's hands tightened, power surging. His sword was broken, 47%. Even Yun, witnessing this speed, let out a compliment. Whoa, faster than before. A red glint flashed in his eyes, filled with ferocity. 54%. Powerful attack was launched, but Yun dodged it just in time. Witnessing this, Dahan couldn't hide his astonishment. This magic power is far stronger than I imagined, truly worthy of the demon sword. Song-gu stood firm in a fighting stance, his sword gripped tightly. Terrifying black cracks began to spread across his face. Now it will be completely different from before. Dahan lowered his head, a thoughtful look in his eyes. I'm afraid this time, even the Thunder Emperor won't be able to remain composed. A surprise attack came, blowing Yun's hair back. A few strands of his hair were severed, falling to the ground. Song-gu dashed towards Yun from behind. He quickly tilted his head back, dodging the sharp blade. Yun marveled inwardly. The weight behind each of his opponent's attacks had increased significantly. He stomped one foot hard on the ground, gaining momentum. Song-gu spun around, unleashing a deadly blow. Yet Yun easily evaded it, his movements as fluid as smoke. He gritted his teeth, frustration and helplessness evident on his face. Impossible. Why? My attacks can't touch him at all? Before Song-gu's eyes, there were only countless blurry afterimages of Yun, moving at an incredible speed. Sol-gu stopped, his breath heavy, chest heaving with exhaustion. He slowly raised his head, his gaze fixed on the opponent standing imposingly before him. The power difference, is it this vast? Sol-gu thought to himself. Yun remained calm, asking casually, Are you giving up already? Sol-gu replied, his voice firm. Dark Moon. Increased synchronization. The sword in his hand vibrated in response. You know your limits end here, don't you? Dark Moon's voice echoed in Sol-gu's mind. Sol-gu smiled, showing no hesitation or submission. I know, but right now, I have to break through my own limits. The Dark Moon's sword didn't object, its jet-black blade beginning to flash with sharp, cold light. It even offered a benevolent warning. But don't forget. If you lose consciousness during synchronization, your soul will be devoured by my power. Sol-gu's eyes blazed crimson, energy surging, reaching 58%. He gritted his teeth, roaring with determination. The Dark Moon sword was plunged into the ground. A terrifying energy, like a pitch-black tornado, erupted from Dark Moon. The dark vortex expanded relentlessly, devouring everything around it. Dahan's eyes widened in astonishment. Incredible! He's too strong. Songwa's gaze suddenly changed, his pupils blazing crimson, surrounded by a terrifying black. This time you can't escape, he growled. Songwa drew his sword, rising to his feet, his aura oppressive. He swung the blade back, preparing to unleash a fatal blow. Severing slash. Songwa roared, slashing downwards. A terrifying whirlwind, carrying destructive power, hurtled towards Yun. Yet Yun remained unbelievably calm. He raised an eyebrow, casually saying, Oh, not bad, but is that all? Then let me show you a glimpse of my true power. Yun raised his hands slightly, and bolts of lightning crackled around him, dancing wildly. Witnessing this, Songwa gasped, Lightning? Impossible! Yun gently extended his hand, lightly touching the air. A tremendous surge of energy erupted, launching straight towards Songwa. Songwa hastily spun, dodging the attack. The terrifying force shook the entire arena violently. A deafening explosion echoed. Dahan, witnessing the horrifying scene, screamed and covered his eyes. When he opened them, he could only let out a lament. Unbelievable. The entire defensive barrier has been destroyed. My money. The arena walls are severely damaged, utterly devastated. Seol-gu kneels amidst the rubble, suddenly looks up, and cracks a cynical smirk. He bows his head, a wry smile tinged with bitterness spreading across his face. Seol-gu looks at the man before him, completely unscathed. Can't believe it, you're the Thunder Emperor. Seol-gu speaks with a solemn tone, earnestly pleading, Please, please, take me as your disciple. Yun, still focused on his computer, replies coldly and curtly, Not a chance. Seol-gu falls silent, his face etched with disappointment. Then he bows deeply again, pleading with a desperate expression. Please agree. I have my reasons. I must become stronger. I was born into a poor family, but I still had a peaceful, happy childhood with my younger sister. Until one day, hearing this, Yun sighs softly. Seol-gu continues his story, oblivious. My sister, she possessed extraordinary potential to become a great hunter, and she was almost kidnapped by an evil organization, a group of demons. At that time, Song-woo tried his best to stop them, but he was powerless. Just then, Dark Moon suddenly appeared, along with the familiar, tiresomely cheesy line, "Make a pact with me. Do you yearn for extraordinary power?" After countless hardships, I finally rescued my younger sister. But ever since that incident, my sister has been in a comatose state, bedridden. Her body seems to be nothing more than an empty shell. Her soul departed. To avenge those who caused this tragedy and find a way to heal my sister, I am determined to destroy that cruel organization at any cost. His face hardened, filled with rage, his teeth clenched tight. Yun continued, "That's why you need to become stronger, right?" Yun's words startled Seong-gu. "How do you know that?" Seong-gu asked, his annoyance evident. "I've heard you tell this story all week. How could I not know it by heart? And I've told you countless times that you're strong enough. You just need to gain more practical combat experience in a few years, and you'll be far superior." Song-gu mumbled, "A few years." Suddenly, he slammed his fist on the table, creating a loud bang. This abrupt action immediately drew the attention of everyone around. "I've only been awakened for 2 short years, and I've already reached S rank," he declared loudly. "However, to reach even higher realms, new heights, I need to be taught, to learn from someone even stronger." And after that last battle, he looked directly at Seol-gu. "I realize that in this world, no one can match your power." Seol-gu raised a hand to cover his eyes, his face a mask of pain and helplessness. "Only you, Lightning Emperor, can help me," his voice pleaded. "My little sister, she's still in the hospital." Before he could finish, Seol-gu cut him off. "Good heavens, I know. Enough," he exclaimed. "Just stop right there. I'm very sorry for your circumstances, but I have something very important to do right now. I have absolutely no time to mentor or train you." He seemed confused about what important matter Seol-gu was referring to. Seol-gu replied, explaining, "Well, actually, being a hunter is just my side job. My real profession? I'm a web novelist." He flashed a confident and smug grin. Song-woo's face momentarily contorted, his features twisting in a grimace. "Huh? Sunset?" Yun turned and walked away, Song-gu silently trailing behind him. He watched Yun's retreating back, a sense of bewilderment rising within him. How could someone abandon ultimate power, forsake immense fame, to become a writer? His expression twisted further, a mixture of resentment and envy etched upon his face. While he was drowning in despair and frustration, the sword at his hip suddenly spoke. "I understand." Song-gu, startled, asked, "Understand what?" It replied, "That man, he's like he's running a solitary race. He's forging ahead alone, leaving everyone far behind. With no rivals to compete with, no one chasing after him. He just keeps walking, alone on his own path. And then one day, when he looks back and realizes there's no one around him, he will feel utterly alone and empty." Song-woo couldn't help but wonder, is that the loneliness of the strongest? The sword replied, its tone hesitant, "I can't say for sure. That's just my conjecture. But I have witnessed a few like him before. Because they were too talented, too powerful, they gradually lost their own purpose in life." Yun looked at him with disgust. "You followed me all the way home?" Song-woo asked, bewildered. "What?" He pointed at the house in front of them. "This is my house." He froze, surprise evident on his face. Then, a little embarrassed, he scratched his head. "No, I'm not that thick-skinned." As soon as he finished speaking, his stomach rumbled loudly. He quickly clutched his stomach, just as Yun asked, "HM, are you hungry?" She gestured towards her house. "Come in, eat, and then you can go." A lavish table, laden with delicious food, was laid out. Everyone enjoyed the meal together, expressing their gratitude. Yun asked curiously, "Where's the chimpanzee lady?" Ji-jun replied, "She's working overtime." He added, "That's a good thing. You almost saw something you shouldn't have." "Mom." Yun gave him a reproachful look. "Why do you call her a chimpanzee?" "Stop it." But he insisted, "But she really is a chimpanzee." A loud noise suddenly echoed. Yun's father continued eating calmly, a gentle smile on his face. Suddenly, he glanced at the unfamiliar guest. Seol-gu froze, as if paralyzed, his chopsticks clattering into his rice bowl. The stifling atmosphere made him flustered, feeling like he had overstayed his welcome. I'm so thick-skinned, following him all the way here, Seol-gu thought to himself. Yun's father spoke, his tone friendly. Make yourself at home, son. Eat your fill. Seol-gu forced a smile. Thank you, sir. He continued, are you and Yun close? I've never seen him bring friends home before. Yun quickly denied, we're not friends. We just happen to know each other. Di-jun, sitting beside them, breathed a sigh of relief. I'm the only one who would dare introduce the magic sword so boldly, Di-jun said proudly. Wait a minute, you know him? Of course, he's quite famous these days. Seol-gu sat silently, awkwardly staring at the table, listening to their conversation. A piece of fried egg was placed in his bowl. Seol-gu looked up, surprised. Oh, thank you. Yun's mother smiled kindly. Don't mention it, dear. Just eat. Yun's friend is as dear to her as her own son. If you're ever hungry, come by for a meal anytime. Seol-gu bowed his head, a pensive expression on his face, lacking enthusiasm. Thank you, Seol-gu murmured, taking a bite of egg. Excuse me. Everyone else continued their meal comfortably. Yun held up 8 fingers, asking her mother, Mom, where's mine? Her mother replied, act cute and I'll give it to you. The response made her father chuckle. Seol-gu seemed to realize something. He quietly observed the 4 of them enjoying their meal together. He lowered his head again, taking another bite of rice. Come to think of it, it's been a long time since I've had a home-cooked meal, Seol-gu thought to himself. Chewing the rice, he exclaimed, delicious. Seol-gu's hand holding the chopsticks suddenly froze. Everyone looked at Seol-gu with concern. A tear silently rolled down Seol-gu's cheek. Surprised by his own emotions, Seol-gu quickly wiped his tears. I'm sorry. Suddenly, a voice cut him off. Mom, the kimchi jjigae is so spicy. Ji-jun rubbed his eyes, adding, yeah, it's so spicy it's making my eyes water. Father Yun agreed. Oh my, it really is spicy. He blinked as he spoke. My eyes are watering too, honey. Seeing that, she quickly stood up, flustered. Oh dear, Seol-gu. I'm so sorry. I think I added a bit too much spice. She hurried into the kitchen. Let me get you some water. Ji-jun called out, Mom, I want some too. Witnessing this heartwarming scene, Seol-gu smiled happily. Later that evening, after dinner, Seol-gu stood at the door, bowing politely as she said, thank you all so much for today. Yun simply waved her hand dismissively, replying, don't mention it, you're too kind. Seol-gu looked up, speaking sincerely. I really mean it. How should I put this? It's been a long time since I felt the warmth of a family like this. Seol-gu looked at Yun, hesitation and uncertainty flickering in her eyes. Seeing this, Yun asked, what's wrong? Why don't you finish what you were saying? The phrase, because of exceptional talent, one gradually loses, resurfaced in Seol-gu's mind. Lost with no purpose left, he remained silent, turning to walk away without explanation. It's just, I realized how selfish I've been, only thinking about myself. Seol-gu quietly put on his hat. Please excuse me. Yun watched as Seol-gu's back receded into the distance. She wondered if she had been too cold, too cruel to him. Then he too turned and walked away, deciding to give up. He could barely take care of himself. How could he worry about others? His phone suddenly vibrated in his hand. He answered, hello, Song-ho, you're asking about Chongyam, so you've decided to give up on becoming his disciple? Seol-gu felt a sense of relief, more comfortable than ever before. Yeah, I can't keep bothering him anymore. Suddenly, he heard a familiar voice from behind. Are you guys recruiting new members? He quickly turned around. We're planning on expanding, Yun said, approaching him. That's great. This is a new beginning, a fresh start. Seol-gu observed him intently, her gaze fixed on his speaking face. Oh, right, she suddenly remembered something. I think he mentioned having a guild. A knowing smile crept onto his lips, as if he had just made an important decision. It would be a shame to give up now. The game has just begun.